Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is
That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Monday, 23rd of September, 2024. We would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net. K's working.
Oops.
Uh-oh, K's oopsing.
Oops.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Big problem.
What do you mean big problem?
Big
It says
problem.
everything's... I
No.
got green check marks.
Close the wrong
Uh-oh. Close the wrong... What?
window.
No, don't do that.
Too late.
It looks like I still see
Okay.
green check.
Nope.
Okay.
All right. Look down.
Look down.
What's missing?
All of your videos.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the 3 dots and then...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if you haven't already, please give us that virtual hug. I obviously need it today. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart and pick one of those wonderful buttons over on Facebook. Let's say hello to everyone.
Hit the buttons. Hit the
Hit the
buttons. Yeah.
Okay. Aaron's in the house.
Aaron, what's going on, man?
Chachi in the
Hey,
house.
Chachi.
I know we got F. Clan over
Yeah,
on
we
Pilled too.
Oh, there's F. Clint. What's up, F. Clint? Yo. Yeah, he's over on Pilled as well. I'm sure Lightspear's over there.
He is.
Yep. What's up, Lightspear? All right.
Yeah, we're just
We're
chatting.
just having. I told you it's just 3 because we were doing all the talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had some really just awesome dad jokes in there. Good luck finding them.
Bethany Ann's over on Pilled as well, doing what she does.
Bethany Ann. Thank you, Bethany Ann. Okay, here we go. Here's one of them. Happy Monday. HVAC started today. It's really going to set the atmosphere in my future. Hold on. I don't even have mine. There we go.
There's Bethany Ann.
Bethany Ann. There she is. What's going on, Bethany?
Aaron saying hello to Bethany. So how was everyone's weekend?
Yeah, how was everybody's weekend? Did you get a chance to relax? I heard nothing was going on. Heard that, it was nice and quiet. Everybody got a chance to relax. Nothing
Right.
weird going on about
Mhm.
Diddy or any of that
No,
stuff.
nothing.
Yeah, it was just kind of quiet from what I understand.
No, that's
there's
not even
nothing.
what happened.
No?
No.
Okay, I know you're getting your butt beat over there.
I really am.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. That's all right. Because all of the things are happening right now. So there is that. Because Kate
'Cause
closed
I
the wrong,
hit the wrong
window.
button.
Yeah, not the X button. Oh no, X is not the spot.
No, X is not the spot for that. So
There we go. All right. Aaron says only worked about 8 hours over the weekend. Was very relaxing. Okay, good.
That's
Well,
good.
yeah, that's a nice quiet weekend, isn't it? There's Mike. Hey, Mike.
I understand tech.
Oh, why don't you
Please.
take care of that? I'm trying to help you because you're like struggling
Please
over
stop.
there. Yes, dear. Meanwhile, while Kay takes deep cleansing breaths, Bethany had technical difficulties getting here today.
Yeah, and I had him, and Santino's making it worse. Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's up, Mike?
Miss Jenny in the house.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Let's go.
You got a video?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. See, it wasn't that bad. Crisis averted.
Okay, so this is an amazing story. I want everyone to please listen carefully because this is just an amazing story about the Trump family.
As they listen carefully. Okay. Moving on then.
I have an amazing story to tell you real quick about what President Trump's father, Fred Trump, did for myself, for my brother, for my sister, for my mother. 1974, my dad suffered a major heart attack. I went to the same school as Donald Trump, the Q Forest School. 3 days after my father's burial, there was a knock on the door one school morning, 7 a.m. I answered the door. It's a distinguished gentleman. I was 10 years old. My father just died. The gentleman said, "Kid, call your mom." I called my mom from upstairs. She came down. Gentleman said to my mom, "I am Fred Trump, Donald's father." And my mom says, "Yes, I know Donald went to the Q Forest School." And Mr. Fred Trump said to my mom, "Yes, Mrs. Rem, very sorry about Joseph's death. And what you don't know is I'm still on the board of trustees at the Q Forest School. And this morning, I let Headmaster Mr. Philip Rogers know that from this day forward, myself, Fred Trump, out of my own pocket, is going to pay for your 3 children's tuition because I don't want the kids have to go back into the public school system." And the tuition in 1974 was $2,500 per child, $7,500, which is about $80,000, $100,000 in today's money. And who would do that except the President Trump father? The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, and they give the Trump family grief. The Trump family is a wonderful family, the entire family. Sorry. And who else? Can you picture Joseph Biden or Kamala Harris doing that? No. All they care about is buying another mansion. I'm going to tell you, the Trump family is wonderful. I love you, Donald. I wish I could shake your hand. It was my mother's last dying wish to shake your hand and to thank your father, Fred Trump, for what he did for us kids in 1974 in Forest Hills, New York. I love you, President.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thoughts, sir?
It's another character story about the Trump family. There's so many stories about all the good that they do and that they don't let the money get to their head, that they use their money to do good deeds for other people because they recognize that they're blessed beyond belief and that they're willing to share whenever they are moved to do so. And it happens frequently. It's not, it's not like he made a fanfare about any of this stuff. It's not like he's brought this up. I don't think I've heard this story ever again. By the way, Jan, there we go. Hi, Jan. Anyways, I think it's yet
the whole family is just amazing.
The whole family is amazing. They're raised right and they have a good moral compass, and that's what America needs. Is we need that I guess example. It used to be that you had idols. You look up to these people, and there's really been nobody that we could look up to that we've been told about. It's always about how big and powerful P. Diddy and Jay-Z and all these movie stars and all these worthless, just worthless people is what we hear about all the time, and about how they're living the most fabulous life. But we don't hear about Trump's fabulous life. We hear about how he's out there building things, and then we get stories off to the side about the things that they've done for people. But you don't hear that, like the guy was saying. You don't hear that about Kamala or Biden or any of those people. None of them. It's because they don't care about anything but themselves. Hey, Steph. Good evening, everybody. Just hopping on to say hello. Have to cut my vacation short. Because of hurricane, leaving out Wednesday morning to go back home. Oh, no. Stay for the hurricane party. I mean, it's not good
Well, we're
advice, but I
glad
mean,
that-
it's advice.
We're glad that you're here
Probably
with
terrible
us
advice.
because we love you.
Yeah, we're happy. Happy you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
But I hope that you can enjoy your vacation as much as possible. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and read that real quick?
Freudian slip. David Muir admits Trump was elected 4 years ago. First question. 2.
You ready?
Yes.
Repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
They always make slips.
Mhm.
They always make mistakes. It's like, what was it that they were all making the mistake?
I'll put that in the
Donald Trump
Telegram
stole the
channel.
erection or something like They kept
Yeah.
on calling it an erection.
An erection.
Yeah, the erection. It's just the Freudian slips are there. Sometimes I think that the Freudian slips, they're told to make those because, well, they're going down. And if they plan on having their, what is it, their image saved in the future, that they have to play along. And that's where some of this stuff looked like it was really going down in terms of like the way they were just making the mistakes with the words that they were saying. They were catching themselves all the time and they thought it was funny. They thought it was a joke.
Mhm.
Completely nothing that you would expect from elected officials, if nothing else.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, Carol. Howdy.
I put it in the Telegram channel, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, it was quiet. I could barely hear it myself, and we were checking the volumes all the way up
Yeah.
for the videos. So there's nothing I can do about that. Rommels?
I don't know.
I'm not catching the reference, Chachi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
You're gonna love this.
All right. When they are eating our crops.
They're eating the corn. They're eating the hay.
Who? The Longhorns?
No, worse. Vegans.
How did they get here?
County's been bringing them in to help diversify our rural communities and workforce.
They'll never work for less than $20 an hour. How will this help?
I don't know.
Are you sure this is not just another one of your conspiracy theories?
Oh, kind of like the horse dewormer in 2021?
That stuff did help me get over the vid.
Or the time when the drinking water was turning our bulls gay?
Our fertility rates were down.
Or when the government wanted to take control of the food system so they forced us ranchers to use EID tags?
You should see what's going on in Ireland.
Or who could forget about P. Diddy's honey traps? You might want to look into that one.
Wow, you're batting like 1,000 with your theories.
Because I read books and do my own research. It's called critical thinking.
How do we stop them from eating all of my succulents?
Defarmation.
You think we should send them back to the cities?
Until they've been properly vetted and learn how to assimilate to the way our life works, we don't want them doing their witchcraft around our farm.
Or we'll become Ohio.
Nothing. Okay, well, now I need to blow it up. Okay. Nothing has such power to broaden the mind as the ability to investigate systematically and truly all that comes under the observation in life. By Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius. There we go. All right. Word sounds. Okay. We're
So
getting it.
thoughts?
So thoughts. Well, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's a great allegory, I guess, to
Mhm.
what's really going on. We don't want these people coming in and destroying all the things that we have. But, now all the city folk are making their way out to the country and destroying the corn crops. My God, what a terrible time to be alive. But at the same time, I think that more and more people, as they go out to the country and try to live the country life, and they go out to their homestead and they recognize that they don't necessarily have all of those skills available to them, even if they had gone to their woke version of the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts and they didn't teach them anything about how to do anything at all that would be, I don't know, self-sufficiency or something like that. I'm gonna say that those people will find their way back to the city because, bugs and snakes and all the things that make city folk kind of uncomfortable will be out there, being a nuisance to everybody. I don't think that I just don't feel like people can go out to the country if they're not used to it, because going to even a smaller town from one of these bigger cities is quite a culture shock.
Mhm.
I mean, it's something like when we were in Amarillo, there's, 200,000 people there in the
Mhm.
area. And that was about what Vegas was like when I went to boot camp. So it wasn't, I mean, it was a big culture shock in terms of everything that we're used to seeing in terms of the number of people and the citification of the urbanization of Las Vegas. So it was nice to have a lot more country. But if you've never seen that, you're just gonna feel like a fish out of water. Uh, Joyful Lily, thank you for bringing that over, Bethany. The Joyful Lily, been a rough month. Stepdad passed. Oh no. So I've been at my mom's a lot, been missing my fam here.
We miss
We
you
we miss
too.
you too. And
We'll
thank you for stopping by. And we will definitely keep your family in our prayers, because a loss is a loss. And
yeah.
especially
And we
somebody that
understand
close would be very
because
difficult.
just so everyone knows, if we could get some prayers, Dad had a heart attack this weekend.
Good news
So
is he waited till the football game was over before he went to the hospital.
yeah. So just keep us in your
Actually, the
prayers
good
as
news
well.
is that he is recovering fine. He's already released from the hospital.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's going on? Just so y'all know. Anyways, Lily says, "This is why I live where city folk wouldn't dare to go."
Yeah.
I'm looking for that place myself. The problem is they keep finding their way everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
When you get the house, you need to remember the dorm room. When you're complaining about the family you prayed for, you need to remember being lonely and single and frustrated. See, some of y'all have lost the art of remembering, but I dare you to take 5 seconds right now and think about what God has brought you from and remember. And when you remember the history, it changes the way you approach your present. See, I approach this moment with faith because I have more than I've ever had. And many times it happens in reverse for people. When they have more than they've ever had, they start protecting what they have. And God told me, he said, Michael, this is the year that you're not going to play it safe. You ready to step out in faith? I said, I thought I was already out here. This feels pretty, okay. But then I learned something. Watch this. You can't appreciate the value of a victory without remembering the magnitude of the moment. See, a lot of people get a victory and they lose the value in it because they forgot the moment they were in when God gave them that victory. Nope, you missed it. Look what happened. Isaiah 43:16 is right here in the Bible. It says, I am the Lord who opened a way. Oh, great. That's a victory. God opened a way. But you only see the value when you realize the magnitude of the moment. He opened up the way through some water. Y'all missed it. My enemy's back here. We scared the ocean. They trying to kill me. I'm running the ocean. I'm black, can't swim. We're gonna rebuke that demon in 2020. We're having transformation swimming classes for y'all. This is foolish. Slavery is over. See, you don't value what God did if you don't remember the magnitude of the moment. My enemy's behind me. I come up to opposition, and God said, see, move. And some of you, that's what he's done in your life. You've come up against, I feel this, opposition, and y'all have forgot the value of the victory because there was no way you should be here. There was no way you should have got into that school. There was no way you should have your right mind. But God made a way. through the sea, if he made a way through a sea for you, why don't you give him some praise in the building?
I did not hear about that, but we don't watch sports anymore.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
Eventually, people will wake up that it's just the circuses, part of the bread and circuses is what the sports are about. I mean, they're great, and the people are amazing physical specimens doing top level kind of sports, and I can appreciate and admire the effort that's put into it. But at the same time, I think that everybody kind of got it confused about how important sports really are. And I think that that's
and
what
they
we're
kept my
finding out,
dad from
especially
going to the hospital.
sports. Yay, go sports.
Go sports.
All right. Anyways, he was talking about the lost art of remembering. And I think I think it's a beautiful way to put it too. It is a lost art because what do we remember? We usually remember and hold on to the things that bring us down. We don't want things that bring us down. We want things that are going to bring us up. But our mind is constantly sabotaging us and telling us that we need to, think about all the negative things that have happened because we should be worried that the negativity is going to come up again. And that's the problem is that our brain sabotages us every time. The monkey mind starts chattering all the time and doing its thing. And really what we need to do is we need to tell that monkey mind, shut up. All right. And think about and replace that with a positive feeling, a positive emotion, a positive expectation of what could happen because of all of the positive things that have happened in our past. And that is the art of remembering is choosing what it is you're going to remember, one, but also understanding that, yes, bad things are going to happen, but we can't live in fear. Otherwise, we're never living. And again, the Bible always goes over the fact that, it says, do not fear 365 times. So we need to not concern ourselves with the negativity. Don't even let it go in your mind, because I know there's tons of things out there that can make us go to a negative space. I'm seeing the news about the things that's going on in Chicago with these foreign mercenaries that are coming in to town and they're going up, and causing problems with the gangs that are already there. And I understand that all these things are going on, but we need to focus on the things where God has delivered a people from certain disaster. And he does it every single time that the people come back to God. And we need to recognize that people are coming back to God and that what we're seeing is only serving to wake people up more and more. So we need to remember these positive things, the art of remembering what's important and what's worth remembering. And then also the art of remembering, trying to remember what the scripture says, because in the end, that is our light. And that light is the thing that will help bring us through these dark times and these dark thoughts, these thoughts, intrusive thoughts that won't go away. Things are supposed to be miserable. No, they're not. They're not supposed to be miserable.
No.
That was then. This is now. You have changed. We have all changed. And that change closer to God and getting that relationship with God is one of the things that can make us recognize that we have to, that we are allowed to have a positive outlook on life.
Amen.
All right. End of rant.
You ready?
Yes.
So more and more Democrats are switching over to the other side. You ready?
What? I spoke to the enemy. Okay, yeah.
I want to say it is so crazy that I'm even speaking to you. If somebody had told me a month ago that I was going to be talking to Fox News, who I've been told is the enemy, I would never have believed it. But basically, yeah, I've worked in Democratic politics a long time. I've raised them millions of dollars, and I went to the DNC last month hoping to feel re-inspired, and instead I just felt like I was in a room with the most out of touch and elite people in the world. And, I'm originally from the Midwest. A lot of the people in my family are union workers or have been in unions, and they are people who once voted for Barack Obama, and now they vote for Donald Trump. And for a long time, I did not understand why. And after raising money for Democrats and just being in these circles, I have realized that the donors control the party.
Oh, yeah.
They control everything. They control what the candidates prioritize. And I know that Republicans also have this issue too, but Democrats are much bigger hypocrites about it. And so I think what it comes down to is just the hypocrisy and the fact that I don't recognize this party anymore. You know, they've become the party of Dick Cheney, of Goldman Sachs, of endless proxy wars, of identity politics, you know, and I'm just at a point, you know, I've been very brave the last couple of weeks and I've gotten a lot of flack from a lot of people. And I'm just at the point where I can't stand it anymore and I have to speak out. So that's why I'm here.
You know, Evan, we're happy to have you on Fox News. And look, 15-year-old Lawrence Jones probably wouldn't have been on Fox News as well, but here I am. You see things change differently. Right. You grow up. So let me ask you this, Evan. What happened to the party? Because one thing I found out is about the working class. It doesn't seem like they're even concerned about, you know, the prices when people go to the grocery store.
I know, and this clip that you guys just played with Oprah and like all these celebrities zooming in from their mansions. I mean, they're just telling us basically that all we need to have is optimism and joy, and that's going to fix our lives. And I'm just tired of it. I'm completely fed up. You know, my grandmother, she lives in Missouri. She voted for Obama twice. She's voted for Trump the last couple of times. You know, she's getting by just on her Social Security check right now, you know, and things have gotten so outrageously expensive. It is so difficult for her. You know, I want to see the Democratic Party talk about what they're going to do for my grandmother, not just have a bunch of celebrities fly in and tell us all to be joyful and optimistic. It's cringy. It's embarrassing.
It is. Well, Evan, we're happy to have you. And I tell you what, I want you to come back as you continue this journey. And I'm curious, as this campaign goes along, I mean, we're only like 46 days away from election, who you're going to vote for. We'll bring you back on as you go through this journey.
Okay.
Thank you so much, my friend. We appreciate it.
Thoughts, sir?
Who was that?
She raises money for the Democratic
yeah. Okay.
Party.
So she's a money grabber. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So like, oh my God. So I totally saw that it was just about the rich elites, and then I decided that I wanted nothing to do with that anymore because I was really hoping that I was going to have some hope after the Democratic convention, and then I lost all my hope because, like, you know, I'm from the Midwest. Where the hell did she get her Valley Girl accent?
I don't know.
I was, but then again, I guess that's just the left. You have to pick up an accent that you think everybody's going to think is cool.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. You know what? Good for her. I mean, congratulations. You saw that, and I'm glad you're not raising money for them anymore. Not that they apparently ever really cared about you. They just cared about the fact that you fit a mold that they liked, and so they were willing to use you. But I am happy that you woke up from that slumber of the lie that they feed all the sheep, and that it's one more vote that they won't have. And this is what's going to create the landslide, because she hit all of the talking points. And she I think, does she still work for the Democratic Party, Jenny? I don't know.
I don't know.
Got a question.
Yeah.
About all of that. But regardless, she hit all the good talking points, and that is the things that people are actually worried about. Like, can we have dinner tonight? You know, can we have electricity? Or will that be too much to ask of our overlords, who determine that everything costs way too much and that we don't deserve to be able to do any of those things based off of the money that we make? And those are the points. That is what's driving people to it. And you know what? There were a lot of people who felt like this back when Jimmy Carter, or when Reagan was running against Jimmy Carter. It was a lot of the same thing, but there were no other outlets. Like, there was no Fox News back then. It was, you get the propaganda that you're given. And now people have that opportunity to go see. So not only are we more than likely going to see that landslide victory that they saw with Reagan, but I think it's going to be even bigger, because everybody is recognizing the corruption. They're recognizing the fact that it's not for them, that people are just worried about whether or not they're going to eat and whether or not World War III is going to start while I'm sleeping tonight, because the administration needs that so that way they can find some crooked ass way to try to negate the election that's going to remove them in the end.
Exactly. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. Jenny said, I thought I saw a TikTok of her talking about the same thing. I'll have to look for it and send it in. Thank you very much, Jenny. That's
You're
awesome.
amazing. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you're ready, but let's go.
Well, I mean,
Really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family, and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that.
What?
well, it was kind of above your head because you don't have the education that she has.
Oh, okay.
You went to the wrong institution of higher learning.
Okay. I mean, I only have a master's degree.
Yeah, I understand it. That's postdoctorate level kind of communications there.
Okay.
Although I will say that the Valley Girl fundraisers seem to be a lot more coherent.
Yeah. No, you're not. You're not.
No, Jenny, exactly, Janice.
Huh?
I don't even know if you can call it a word salad. I mean, can you?
I don't. She makes my head hurt.
What was that word that I was looking up earlier? Darn it. I can't believe I closed that. Oh, man. Anyways, that was pretty funny.
That doesn't surprise me.
There it is. Glossolalia. That's it. Glossolalia. The phenomenon of apparently speaking in an unknown language. Usually in reference to speaking in tongues. So maybe this is like the demon version of glossolalia.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. Now we've all learned a new word today. You're welcome.
Bethany showing off.
There she is. There's Bethany. Thank you, Bethany.
She is a headache. Ugh. Are you ready?
Yes.
There's nothing even to say about that. Let's just move on.
We can't have any.
Why choose to suffer? Here, let me help you out, okay? The reason why you're suffering is because you're trying to control reality. You have expectations. You think you need things a certain way in order to reach a state of happiness. So you go around setting up your life, doing all these things so you can, what you're envisioning becomes your reality and you'll be happy. But humbling moment right now. This is crazy. The universe has been around for 13.8 billion years. Deep understanding. It is doing its own thing. Right? It's out of your control. This is called an unfolding. It's a happening. We as consciousness are just observing the happening. Things happen all the time, every day, crazy things, whatever things, happy things, it's nuts. All it is happening, and you are observing. So where you're suffering is because you're trying to think of what you need, but that's not going to happen. And if it does, it's not going to last long. And the new desire, it's desires, it's preferences. These are the things that are making you suffer. So what you must practice, it's the idea, it's what you want to do every day, is you wake up and you accept reality and you are so grateful for whatever is happening in that moment. Either way, it's a lesson, it's a blessing, it's all because it is what it is. If you can't let go of the moments, if you hang on to your past, if you get stuck, if you get blocked, you're going to suffer because you're trying to control reality. You cannot control reality. You can control the effort and the attitude that you bring to every single day, showing up and get excited and being positive about you and your life and this very incredible experience that you're having. let go, drop the baggage, sit back, buckle up, enjoy the ride, and get excited.
Thoughts?
That's awesome. I think that that's a great way to say it. And there's a couple things going on here. So it's a great way to say it, that it's a happening. There's nothing we can really do about it other than to talk to other people about the things that we're seeing. And that's what part of our part is in this happening, because people are waking up, because people are finally listening to the people who have actually been paying attention and not listening to the lies that they've gotten. So the comfortable lies have become uncomfortable. And so now people are being forced to listen to something else, and that is reality for a change. So that's a great thing. And in the like believing in God world, we recognize that it's all God's plan. We have no say in it. So this guy, and he said that the earth is, millions of years old or whatever, and that's fine, but it shows that there's a convergence. There's a convergence of everybody's beliefs. They're starting to line up. And I think that that's a great thing in this, as he called it, a happening. It's because we would call it a revival, because people are coming together. Their thought processes are starting to line up, and people are making stronger and stronger connections to the very reality of the life in the world that we're living in right now. Yeah, and so what does this say? It says that even though that he may not be talking, things in words that are directly aligned with Christianity or Judaism or Islam or anything like that, it's new agey spiritualism kind of stuff. But that's because of the programming that we've gone through. But that is lining up with the belief in God. So this is yet another proof that God is working magic all over the place, and it's beautiful, and we will see it continue to go more towards a revival as opposed to just a happening, as he said, because the thing that's happening is a revival.
Amen. You ready?
Yep.
The greatest things in the world were built by tired people. All right, I know you're tired. I know it's hard. I know you're exhausted. The fucking wonders of the world, guess who they were built by? Exhausted people. The buildings that you admire, guess who they were designed by and built by? People that were tired. Everything great in the world was built by tired motherfuckers. So it doesn't matter if you're tired. You just have to keep going.
Thoughts?
What is tired? I thought that was just a normal state of trudging through life. You know what? We're all tired. We're all tired. We've been tired. And what I've found out is that it doesn't matter how tired you are, as long as you have that willpower to keep simply trudging on, to merely just move forward in life. That is what makes the difference. It is merely making a decision to, I am going to persist. I am going to keep going. It may be slow. I may not finish the race first. I may not, get the medals and the honorifics and all that other stuff other than the fact that I know that I kept going, and that despite everything that's going on in the world around me, that I persisted, because
Yes.
I want to. And that's what it really boils down to in the end, when everything is up against you, and it feels like the entire world is against you. Sometimes it's just a matter of, you know what? I want to do this.
Never give up.
Never give up. And that's what another thing that each and every one of you is learning is yes, we may be going through hard times, and sometimes it may seem like you are surrounded by complete and utter darkness, but that cannot overcome the light that is within each and every one of you. And sometimes God wants us to find that light within us, so that way we can see his plans work through us. We need to have that faith. And that's where faith comes in a lot of the time, is knowing that no matter what, that you continue on, that you will succeed. Bethany says, I push and eventually I win, but the journey is definitely exhausting. Yes, it is. And then guess what happens after that exhausting journey is over? We start another one.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no growth in stagnation.
There's not.
Well, I mean, like weird stuff in a pond, but nobody wants that.
Right.
Yeah. What is this tired you speak of?
Exactly.
Yes, Wendy. Fight, fight, fight. Exactly. You know, we're fighting the demons within. And once people really start to recognize that our problems generally start within, and that's when we can really start to make a little bit easier steps moving forward. Not easy, just a little bit easier.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's no enemy within, then the enemy without can do nothing to us.
Exactly.
African proverb. Thank God for his hand in life. Amen, Bethany.
Amen. You
And
ready?
it's always his hand, whether we admit it or not.
Exactly. You ready?
Yes.
Go ahead and read that.
Usher and Pink both delete all their ex posts following the Diddy arrest. Well, that's weird. Hey, Shipwreck made it on
Liberty Day.
Hell yeah! Congratulations, Shipwreck. That's badass.
You ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, they're running. Twitter is both a social media company and a crime scene. He first posted it back in 2022, and then he reposted it in September of 2024. Last night, Usher had gone through and deleted all of his posts off of X. Now this morning, Pink, the singer, the one who hates Donald Trump, and she's like, fuck you if you vote for that lady, also deleted all of her social media except for 2 reposts. Earlier, she had over 4,300 posts, and now the only posts remaining in her feed are 2 reposts from 2016 and 2017. Side note, one of those reposts is from Keith Olbermann, who is the worst. He's just the fucking worst. And then her second repost is about the Dixie Chicks, so both are political, which is interesting. She deleted all the ones about her music. She deleted all the ones about her upcoming album. Why would she do that? But leave 2 reposts that are political. And then I went and I tried to find like pictures of Pink and P. Diddy or something, but all you can find is the stuff that was Pink that was found in P. Diddy's house. And talk about it here, go look it up and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I did go to Threads on Instagram, which is whatever. It's like Instagram's X or Twitter. And I found this thread, and this is from a Hollywood producer that worked with Pink on her song Misunderstood. And he stated, I went to Diddy's house one time with Pink for an after party after a very popular club we frequented it. My instinct told me to leave, although I really wanted to stay. I felt vibes like something was creepy was about to happen, yada, 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 lots of stories. He has no reason to embellish the truth. With that said, he's glad he never stayed because a lot of you who were mega producers and artists back then, that took the bait and now have to deal with the truth, the fallout. He was also on the Kelly Clarkson show, and his name is Damian Elliott. Twitter is both a social media company and a crime scene. I think you're about to find out one of the main reasons that Elon Musk had bought Twitter back when he did. Because Twitter 1.0 had come under fire for a whole lot of things, from soliciting minors in DMs to different posts that were made about things that people would do to minors, adults would do. I mean, there was some stuff, and he has it all. Elon Musk has it all.
Shipwreck on Liberty Daily.
That's awesome.
Anyway, thoughts?
So, obviously, we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline about P. Diddy and everything. And I wanted to share this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and share the link so that way it's to the Daily Mail, but that has a lot of the pictures that they changed things. What did they change? Why did they do this?
I don't know.
Oh, Lord have mercy. They didn't even give me a heads up.
We're going to talk about Cat Williams here in a minute, Chachi. Good call. Good call.
Yeah, we're going to get to that too. So on this Daily Mail article, there's good pictures of a lot of
we'll
the
use
people,
the term good loosely here.
and some names that were kind of disappointing to me because I hadn't heard their names for, like Matthew Broderick. Really disappointed in Ferris. Ferris, you need your ass beat, sir. Let's see. And then just all of the names, the pictures. Oh, look, it's Leo DiCaprio. And so many other people are at the parties, and then it gets a little, whatever. But it's
yeah, let's be careful.
yeah,
what we put up.
Yeah. So
Please.
it's British. They're not going to show any of the, the bits and pieces, but they are going to give you a concept as to what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to try nothing, but we appreciate you, Wendy.
Wendy, you just take care of you,
yeah,
sweetie.
you take care of you.
Just listen to.
Yeah,
if you want to just listen, that's fine.
If you want to go
sweetie.
take a nap, whatever you need to do what you got to do.
You take care of you.
There will be no test afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Well, at least not from us. Maybe the world, but I think you're already ready for that one.
Yeah.
So the information, Jay-Z is specifically named. They showed the lawyers from the music industry. So many names are just going to get wrapped up into this. Even Russell Brand was in there too. But I think that he was at the last party that
I think
Diddy
that's
did.
exactly why he turned to God.
I think that's
we
exactly
like it
what,
when you talk, sweetie.
We love all of y'all. Yeah, we love hearing from all of you. But yeah, so I think that that's why he turned to God, because apparently he had gone to one that was the last party that Diddy did, one of the Diddy parties. So we'll see. But names, what was it, on the 21st? There was a Q post the day the music died. It was also when a lot of this stuff came out. So Chachi says, Elon has archived all those folks' threads. All of their base are now belong to us. Yes, all their base are now belong to us. And that's 100% the truth. And I have a feeling that these people were so proud of themselves that they never permanently deleted anything. So that way they could always go back and reminisce about all the amazing parties that they had. And I have a feeling that all of those things on X are going to be in the evidence pile moving forward. Jenny says, a client was telling me about Howard Stern. He was on there too, talking on his store or show, admitting to be invited to one of his parties, but was posed because there was one outside and the inside was VIP. He wasn't allowed inside. Well, and that might be, that's going to be more and more of the things that we hear. Because, he was, Howard Stern was definitely named in that article as well.
Yeah.
Lots of names in there. And I'm sure that those photos were the photos that were, most of them were before the, I guess, actual festivities. Is that what you call it? Started. So I don't know. Yeah. Keep out of the shenanigans. No, stay in the shenanigans. Always shenanigans.
Well, that's what she said.
Very well. Back at it. That's Dad.
That's Dad. And you're right, Aaron. He does look like an old woman with a lot of cats. He does. He really does.
Thank you all for your love you share.
Yes. Jan says, we need to not get so wrapped up in this because many behind D want him out. BlackRock being one group.
Yeah. And you know what? I got you. I have a feeling that a lot of this ends up tying directly to BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, East India Trading Company, basically. I have a feeling that this is a stepping stone, kind of like the dominoes. When they say the dominoes start to fall, I believe that these dominoes, like they were showing the lawyers that were at the Diddy party in those pictures, I think that takes us to the execs. The execs take us to the bankers, et cetera, et cetera.
No, you don't look like an old woman with cats. We were talking about Howard Stern.
Howard Stern, you always loved him.
Yeah. No, everyone loves you. Don't worry about that. Are you ready?
Dad couldn't stand Howard Stern.
I know. I know. Never did like him.
Nope.
You ready?
Yes.
Go ahead and read that, please.
Mansion taken over by squatters in Hollywood. Possibly. Hollyweird. Possibly used by Diddy and once owned by Mary J. Blige.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Last night, couldn't even get an answer. I tried to call, but my pride wouldn't let me die. And I'm sitting here with this blank expression. And the way I feel, I wanna curl up like a child. I know you can hear me. I know you can feel me. I can't live without you. God, continue to make me better.
Thoughts, sir?
Wow. So that was the house that was in that Diddy video, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what does that tell you? I want to hear what you have to say about that one. I mean, I got my own ideas.
I mean, it tells me that more and more stuff's coming to light, and it's
Mhm.
gonna.
And that these mansions that they had were probably assumed for the people that they already. Oh, Trump's on. Did we want to switch over to that, or I know we got tons of stuff to catch up with over the
Got a lot
weekend.
of stuff to catch up with. I mean, I can see if there's anything that's really going to be ground shattering at this point.
Right.
Let's see.
He's going on a lot lately. So while you're looking that up, I'm going to say that that these buildings that look this way, I think that they've already been seized. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's easier to get to that one than what Epstein Island to go tag and destroy and rummage through everything. But I have a feeling that that's the reason why they're doing it, because it's going to look like an eyesore to all of their friends who surround that house in what, Beverly Hills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's an eyesore, and so you know what I mean. It's a good thing y'all are so superior. That's why you live in such fancy areas where that kind of shit doesn't happen.
Yes, that was a real song, and the truth is being
Revealed.
Yeah.
100%.
You ready?
Was that a real? I know. I don't listen to any of it, and so it was kind of awful. But
Let's see what he's saying real quick, but we do
Okay.
have a lot to get through.
okay, we can do that.
Voting begins in Pennsylvania over the next 2 weeks. And we need each and every one of you to go out. Just don't take anything for granted. We have to win Pennsylvania. Go out and make a plan to vote early, vote absentee, or vote in person on election day. But you got to get out and vote. You got to say to your husband, Harry, get the hell off that couch. We can't take any chances because our nation is at stake. Our nation is going to hell. What they've done to our country at the border with inflation, with that Afghanistan nightmare that was the most embarrassing day probably in the history of our country, the way they did that. Getting out was fine, but you get out with dignity and strength. What they did was so bad. When you look at October 7th in Israel, it would have never happened. And you look at the Russian attack of Ukraine, would have never, ever happened, not even a thought of it. Think of it. Think of how different this world would have been. Think of how different this country would have been, our country, which is just going so bad. It's so bad. Millions and millions of people are pouring into our country, and they come from jails. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're terrorists at a level that nobody's ever seen before, and they let them come in. And you have the border czar, this person that can't even speak. She can't ask a question. She can't answer a question from. Now she gets out. Oprah Winfrey, who I used to know well, she used to love me until I decided to run for politics. Oh, let's go to Mar-a-Lago, Donald. I love the place so much. No, she used to love me, but once I ran for politics, that was the end of that, and that was okay with me. I couldn't care less because we got to make our country great again. Got to make it great again, greater than ever before. But Oprah would ask just a simple question, and you get this crazy answer, or you don't get any answer. Just, this is not a president. We had 4 years of this. We're not going to have 4 more years. We won't survive it. I also want you to promise to find at least one voter and get them out to the polls. Find these people. There's so many people. If everybody votes, you know, it's interesting. Christians, we got to get the Christians to vote. You know, I don't know what it is. Relatively, they don't vote a lot. They go to church and they love church, and that's great, but we got to get Christians, evangelicals, we have to get them out to vote. We have to get gun owners. You know, gun owners don't vote. They don't vote. We have to get them out. The NRA gave me their total endorsement. They have every time, total, complete endorsement, but they vote at levels that are very low. You know what it is? It's probably rebellion. They're rebelling. But there's nothing to rebel about. You have to get out. If we had Christians voting in full strength, We couldn't lose. If we had the gun owners voting at full strength, we couldn't lose. We have to get gun owners because your guns are under siege. She wants to take your guns away. Our entire nation is counting on the people of this great commonwealth, and I know you will not let us down. You're not going to let us down. We got to get out and vote. You can start right away. You know that, right? Now we have this stupid stuff where you can vote 45 days early. I wonder what the hell happens during that 45. Let's move see these votes? We've got about 1 million votes in there. Let's move them. We're fixing the air conditioner in the room, right? No, it's terrible. What happened the last time was disgraceful, including right here. But we're not going to let it happen again. Too big to rig, right? That's one way you do it. Can't let it happen. We got to take our country back from these horrible people because if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's very simple. 43 days from now. 43 days we've been waiting for 4 years. 4 years. We had people that were so incompetent. They were the most incompetent leaders in the whole world. And she is worse than Sleepy Joe Biden. She's worse. She's worse. 43 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania and take our country back, and we're going to be so happy. And it'll be the most important day and the most important vote in the history of our country because we're losing our country. I mean, somebody I heard the other day, pretty smart person, and you think about it, and it could be true. They said, if we don't win this election, there may never be another election in this country. It could happen. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela was the most prosperous country, and now you take a look. And can you believe these stupid people are buying oil from Venezuela? From Venezuela, who was our enemy. They foreclosed on his airplane, a crappy old airplane. But they're giving him billions of dollars for oil. It's not oil, it's tar. It's the worst. And for the environmentalists, you know where they cure the tar? Where they take the tar and they make it into beautiful oil? Houston, Texas, and it all goes flying up in the air. You ought to look into that one for all of you wonderful people that talk about the environment like I do, like many of the people in this room do. But they do it. The oil refinery it's the only one that can do it because it literally is tar. It's not good stuff. We have the best stuff and we have the most. We have more liquid gold under our feet and we're buying oil from Venezuela. We don't need it at all. It's crazy. These people are crazy. What a nice looking man. Who is that? Oh, that's Trump. What a wonderful looking person. I'm just checking out the hairstyle as I'm talking. I don't know. Yeah. No, I'm checking, I'm talking, I'm looking up, I'm saying, I don't love it. Yeah, I really don't love it. What the hell can you do? There's nothing I can do about it, right? We're stuck with it. Kamala Harris is reportedly giving a speech in Pittsburgh. Her speeches are very short. About her plan to, quote, build wealth. She doesn't know anything about building wealth. But she's been in office for 3.5 years. She's saying what she's going to do if she becomes president. But she's been there almost 4 years. She hasn't done anything except destroy our country with millions of people that shouldn't be here. And inflation. And inflation. What the damage that Sleepy Joe, I'm tending to call him Sleepy Joe lately because I called him Crooked Joe. But now he's not is he, who's our president? We don't even do we have a president? Why doesn't he leave? Why doesn't he leave? No, think of it. Think of it. I call him Crooked Joe. That was very effective. It got him out of the race. I mean, guess what? No, we had a debate, and he didn't do too well in that debate. And they came to him, and they said, you're down 21 points, and you're going to lose. This can only happen to me. So I end up with somebody new. But here's the thing. All I have to do is expose her for what she is. She's a communist, okay? She's a communist. And this country is not ready for a communist and hopefully never will be, because that doesn't work. Kamala talks about all these things that she's going to do, but she's been here. Think of it. She's been here for almost 4 years and she's not done anything. I will do this. I will do that. I will do that. What the hell? She could do them today. You know, they talk about the border. Oh, we have a plan for the border. I didn't have any help. I had a very hostile Congress. And what I did is I said, close the border to the Border Patrol. They're great. And the border was closed. We had the safest border in the history of our country. And that border was a mess. You know, in 2016, I think I won maybe because of the border. The border was very bad. And in 2020, I couldn't talk about the border because there was no problem. My people, my geniuses back there, they all said, sir, you can't really talk about the border. There's no problem. I said, well, I want to at least talk about it. I fix it. They said, people don't care, sir. They don't care. So I didn't talk about the border, but we did get millions of more votes. If you remember 2020, we got millions more votes. Millions. Look at that guy with the rug on over there. Look at him. Look at that handsome guy. You look good. He looks good. But we got millions more votes. But I'll tell you what, and we've been all over Pennsylvania today. 2016 or 2020, we never had the enthusiasm that we have right now. Look at this. Look at this. And the reason is because they're so bad. You know, we never had anything to compare it to. They're so bad. 4 years of destroying our country. We don't have a great country anymore. Remember, I had CAG, Keep America Great. But I couldn't use it because they said America's not great. I hate to say it, but America soon will be greater than ever before. You watch. We got to win the election. We got to win the election. And I can't call her Harris either. You know, Harris, when I say Harris, nobody knows. Does that make sense? I say, and when Harris, everyone says, who's Harris? Nobody knows this person. No, they don't know her by the name Harris. They know her Kamala. It's strange. The name Harris. And when Harris, and people say, who is that Harris? Nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about. You know that? Lee, nobody knows you're a good lawyer. Maybe we have to change your name. You know, but nobody knows a nice name, Harris. I know some people named Harris. They're nice people. She happens to be not a nice person. She happens to be a person that's destroyed everything she's ever touched. Kamala's ruinous economic policies have already cost the typical household $29,000 through rampant inflation. $29,000 per household. She's a one-woman economic wrecking ball, and if she gets 4 more years, her radical agenda will smash the economy into rubble and grind your financial situation right into the dust. You can't have it. You can't have it. We've had it. We've had it. The guy is incompetent, and she's incompetent also. She had the other interview with the other guy, who was a nice guy, I think, from Philadelphia, from Pennsylvania, and he was a nice guy who was asking her all these. They don't take like I do. Anybody who wants to go. What the hell difference does it make? They have, and how dishonest was ABC? It was 3-on-1. How about this David Muir and the other woman I never heard of? I don't know. How the hell did she get there? I never heard of her. But David Muir, when I say crime numbers are rising, he interrupts me, kept interrupting. And he said, we have it by fact that crime numbers are going down. I said, anybody that thinks crime is going down is a serious brain problem. And then it got announced the following day that Trump was right, that crime was up 45%. How about them? And I thought she was terrible in the debate. She didn't answer any questions. All she did is tell lies, bloodbath. She talked about Charlottesville. All these things were all, I hate the word debunked, but it says it. They were all debunked, every one of them. And people said it. Well, the radical left didn't say it, but they've all been fully debunked. All she did was tell lies. But when it came time to ask a question like, what are you going to do about inflation? What are you going to do about keeping taxes low? She was unable to even talk. But the one on Oprah was the worst one, in my opinion. Oprah wanted to climb under the table. It was so embarrassing. She couldn't answer the simplest question. So vote Trump and your incomes will soar, your net worth will skyrocket, your energy costs and grocery prices will come tumbling down, and we will bring back the American dream, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. The American dream. We don't talk about the American dream anymore, you know that? Mr. Congressman, what a great congressman. I'm going to introduce you guys, but what a good warrior you are. Thank you. We don't talk about the American dream, right? Anymore. We used to talk about it all the time. Today, they don't talk about it. Don't lose hope. We have to have hope. Don't lose hope. Our country's an embarrassment. The whole world is laughing at us. We're going to be stronger. They weren't laughing at us 4 years ago. They were not unhappy to see me head off. And they said, thank goodness we'll never have to see him or deal with him again. You know, China had to pay $472 billion in tariffs. No other president took in 10 cents from China. Not 10 cents. No president took in 10 cents. And remember this, and I just say this, if you look at Ukraine and Russia, but you know, they say Russia. I stopped the Russian pipeline. It's called Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of it until I came along. I stopped the biggest economic development job, the biggest job they've ever done. I stopped it cold. When Biden came in, he let them build, but he killed our Keystone pipeline, which we needed. He killed Keystone, so he killed, but think of it. And remember this about Russia. Under Bush, they took a lot. Under Biden and Barack Hussein Obama, has anyone ever heard of him? Barack Hussein, a lot of people say he's actually running the country right now. I don't think so. I don't think so. But some people say he's running our country. But I don't think it's Biden. Under Barack Hussein Obama, they took a lot, right? Under Biden, they're taking everything. They're taking everything. This is Russia. They're taking everything. I mean, Ukraine is destroyed. It's destroyed. You know, they could have made a deal. And you didn't even have to make a deal. Putin was never going in if I were president. But even if he did, you could have made a deal. Now the whole place is destroyed. The cities are knocked down. Millions of people are dead. Far more people are dead than anybody knows. Far more people. When you see those cities get knocked down and they say 2 people are injured, it's all a lot of fake news, I'll tell you. The people are dead, millions of people. And now the whole place has been, the cities have been knocked down, the whole place. They could have made a deal 3 years ago and everything would be happy, vibrant. Their heritage wouldn't have been broken. Those beautiful golden towers are taken down. All of those beautiful ancient towers are rubble on the ground now. I mean, any deal they make, what's the deal? They have to go back. They'll take 100 years to rebuild. You can never rebuild it like it was. That should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president. And you know what? It didn't happen. And even radical left lunatic Democrats say, I will say, if Trump was president, it wouldn't have happened. Putin would have never done it. I said, don't do it, Vladimir. Don't even think. We're not going to do it, Vladimir. I said, Vladimir, we're not going to do that, Vladimir. And China, I had the same almost identical conversation with President Xi of China. Don't go in. Don't go in. He's got planes circling Taiwan. He wants that so badly. And Vladimir wanted it badly. That was the apple of his eye. Ukraine was the apple of his eye. But I said, don't do it. He would have never gone in. Would have never happened. All these things would have never happened. But Ukraine now, I see Zelensky is here. I think Zelensky is the greatest salesman in history. Every time he comes into the country, he walks away with $60 billion. Billion. Walks in with $60 billion. He wants them to win this election so badly. But I would do differently. I will work out peace as president-elect. If I win this election, the first thing I'm going to do is call up Zelensky and call up President Putin, and I'm going to say, you got to make a deal. This is crazy. Crazy. They asked Biden, when was the last time you spoke to Putin? He didn't know. Of course he didn't know. What a stupid question. Of course he doesn't know. How would he know a thing like that? But it's been like years. And they keep bombing, cities pouring down, bombing. It's horrible. Actually, they're reduced now to using young boys and old men. Young boys and old men, because their people have been killed. So many of their people have been killed that they are using young boys to fight the war and old men. How about that? It's what a horrible thing has happened just because, and it's our fault because it's a war that should have never been allowed to happen, and we had the power that it would never have happened. We have an incompetent leader in Biden, and we have somebody who's worse in this new one that they threw into the ring. Central to Kamala's agenda for economic destruction is her plan to impose the largest individual tax hikes in American history onto our public, the largest small business tax hike in history, the largest capital gains tax hike in history. How about the capital gains tax, right? How about that one? And even the brand new wealth confiscation tax or unrealized capital gain. How about that? Unrealized. You know, I know a lot of people that are rich, but they have no cash. They're rich as hell, but what are they going to do? They have to pay cash to unrealized. In other words, you pay a capital gains tax even though you're not selling your property, your stock, or whatever it might be. I don't think it's ever even been done. It's been thought of by communist nations, but I don't think it's ever been done. You know, her father is a fascist. He's a Marxist, and he's a teacher of Marxist economics. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Where have we come? Which will annihilate, if they do that unrealized capital gain, which I can't believe they can pull it off, but if they do it, it'll annihilate the stock market and wipe out the savings of millions of seniors and middle-class families. It'll wipe out our country. Our country will be driven in, I think anyway, it'll happen. If, you know, a lot of people say the only reason the stock market's high is everyone thinks I'm going to win the election. I believe that's true. A lot of the biggest, smartest, Uncle Sam, look, it's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam is here. Do you agree with that? Uncle Sam says, no, a lot of people agree. I think it's going to be horrible. We don't win for so many other reasons too, but you'll have a depression like 1929. Kamala Harris is the tax queen, and she's coming for your money. She's coming for your pensions, and she's coming for your savings unless you defeat her in November and you want to take away your guns. Remember that. Always remember that. As president, I will keep Kamala's greedy hands out of your pockets, and we will deliver gigantic tax cuts. I gave you the largest tax cuts in history, and we are going to go further. That's what created the greatest economy. You know, when they say compare yourself now, but do something else. Compare costs now. Compare the cost of bacon with the cost of bacon 4 or 5 years ago. Compare the cost of just groceries. I mean, some of these things have gone up 4, 5, 6 times. Energy, interest rates. How about, I was at 2% interest rates. Now they're at 10%, but you can't get the money. So you got to keep going up. Okay, you're not at 10% if you can't get the money. We will have, I'm very proud of this. And then she copied me on one of them, only one. I'm waiting for the others. We will have no tax on tips. That was an easy one. We will have no tax on overtime. You work overtime. And for our seniors who have been decimated by the stupidity of inflation, these people, what they did to you on inflation, we will have no tax on Social Security benefits. No tax. You've been decimated. They took it all away. They took it all away from you. And for all the suburban households paying high property taxes here in Pennsylvania, I will restore the SALT deduction. Do you know what that is? SALT deduction. You will, to save you thousands of dollars. Maybe I shouldn't bother with, but that's a good one, but you guys don't know what the hell it is. That's a good one. People think of New York, but it actually affects you very much too. I think I'll keep it off the Pennsylvania. You don't care. You didn't like that one so much, but it's actually pretty good. It's no wonder that Kamala Harris was just officially endorsed by IRS agents. Do you believe it? That's when you'd say, I'd rather not have that endorsement. But I've been endorsed by virtually every police group in the entire nation. Every police group. Almost every sheriff's group, every police group, every one of them. We just had one, the Fraternal Order. We just had 400,000 policemen. That's the biggest of all the unions, and they endorsed me. And this is the first time in decades, just got endorsed by the rank and file members of the Teamsters, which I happen to think is amazing. That was a surprise. That's automatic for the Democrats, and they now the bosses didn't endorse me, but they had a problem because they got 30% of the vote. We got actually 60 or 61% of the vote. Can you believe it? So the people that were in the 61, the people that want us, they said, "Well, how come you didn't endorse them? Why do you?" They're just going to take a pass, but maybe that's okay. That's all right. We know where they stand, and that's good. Kamala Harris is the candidate of the tax collectors and the Washington bureaucrats. I am the candidate of the American worker, and I always will be. I always will be. But perhaps Kamala's biggest tax hike of all is her vicious attack on Pennsylvania energy. You're under attack. If anybody here believes that she will let your energy industry continue, like fracking, you should immediately go to a psychiatrist and have your head examined. On dozens of occasions, Kamala said that she intends to ban fracking. I'm going to ban it. I'm going to ban it. I think we have a clip. Would you like to see a clip? I spend a lot of money on these clips. Spend a lot of money on these clips.
That's why I am committed to passing a Green New Deal, creating clean jobs, and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
Mama Kamala just don't give a frack.
Isn't that great? He's not very funny. Can you? That guy. Those three guys, they're being blown away by Gutfeld. You know, Gutfeld, totally dominant. Those three guys. You remember that guy? When I first ran, it was like 2015, thinking about running. I was going to run. I went on his show, right? And he goes, The Tonight Show, which is dying. They're all dying. Where's Johnny Carson? Bring back Johnny. It made you appreciate, right, Uncle Sam? It made you appreciate the greatness of Johnny Carson and these guys. These three guys, they're so bad, all three of them. All three of them. But this one, I go on his show, and he goes, Is that your real hair? I said, Yeah. He said, Do you mind if I mess it up? I said, I'd prefer no. Do you remember this? I said, I'd prefer it if you didn't, to be honest, but if you have to. So he grabs it, and he starts really going crazy, right? And everybody laughed, and it was a big thing. It was a big hit. It was all over the place, and he got great ratings and all. And 6 months later, he went out because he was under pressure to apologize because he humanized Donald Trump. Do you remember? And he stood up and he said, I'd like to apologize. 6 months ago, or whatever it was, I messed up Donald Trump's hair and it humanized him and he became president. And I would like to apologize. How weak and pathetic is a guy like that? And his show died, but the other two shows are dying. The one on ABC is dying. He was the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. Remember I did that? Remember I wrote I put a truth. Everybody should go to Truth immediately. And by the way, we also love Elon, I have to tell you. Okay. Gave me a big endorsement. big one. But remember in the Academy Awards, I said how he's the worst host in the history of the Academy Awards. And this stupid guy goes up, and just before the Best Picture of the Year, the show is almost over. They're waiting for the Best Picture of the Year. He gets up and he says, and his wife said, please don't do it. Please, darling, don't go out. His manager said, don't do it. I have to do it. He goes out and reads my truth to the entire audience right before the best prime time, the Best Picture. And it said, basically, he is the worst host in the history. He reads the whole thing. And then I think he said something like, ha, ha, ha. He thinks he bothers me or some crap like that. I said, he's one of the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife. What a dope. But all three of them are bad. The hatred. You know, it's supposed to be comedy. It's hatred. It's like terrible. But they're dying. And did anyone see the Gutfeld for last week? So actually, I said it in the show. You know, so Gutfeld had the highest ratings in his history. And it was the #1 show of the week on all of television, not just on cable, on all of television. It beat all the network shows. But I told her on the show, Gutfeld hated me for a long time, hated me. And then he started saying, you know, he didn't know me, but he hated me. People that know me like me. But he just couldn't stand me. And he was pretty strong on that. And then what happened is he started to say, you know, I don't like him, but he gets everything done. He rebuilt our military. We have no wars. He took out the worst terrorists in history. We don't have any problems. We didn't have one terror attack during my administration. With all the terror attacks all over the world, we didn't have countries fighting each other. They wouldn't have done it without my permission. They would call me up to ask whether or not they could go to war with some other country. And I said, you can't do that. And if you do that, I'm going to put big, big taxes all over your country. Okay, we won't do it. And they'd call me up the next day. We've decided not to go to the war. We had no wars. Israel was free. Ukraine was free. They weren't. The whole world, Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, he said, if you want to solve, because now everything's blowing up. The Middle East is going to end up in World War III. Ukraine's going to end up in World War III. So many different, we could end up in World War III with incompetent leadership. With smart leadership, it never happened. But it's tougher now than it would have been 3-4 years ago. I mean, the whole place. And more importantly, no matter what you do, you can't get those cities back. You can't get that civilization back. And you can't get 3 or 4 million lives back. You can't do it. But Gutfeld said, on the show, he said, you know, I don't love this guy, but man, everything he touches, he fixes, he gets it done. Our country was doing great. We had the best economy. And he asked for an interview, and I said, you know, I'll do it, but I'm begrudgingly, 10 minutes. I don't really want to do it because he doesn't like me. I guess I don't like anybody that doesn't like me, I'll be honest. When they don't like me, I don't like them, okay? Sounds childish. Look at the wall. Mr. Wall, stand up, please, Mr. Wall. When they don't like me, Lee, I don't like them. That's the way it is. Call it a personality defect. But we did an interview, and it was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it lasted for 2.5 hours. It just never stopped. There was a great chemistry. We actually liked each other. And he likes me. And he took that interview and he put it on 5 shows, and his ratings went through the roof. And he's held it. I mean, he's the hottest guy on late night and beyond late night, maybe in a lot of ways. But we love Sean Hannity too, right? And we love Laura. And we love Jesse. And Janine. And Pete. We like Pete Hegseth. Ainsley's good. We have a lot of good people. And then we have some bad ones too, including on Fox. You ever notice on Fox, they put me on, I do a great job, and then they follow me with a horrible commercial. You know, I say, what the hell is it good of me doing it if Roger Ailes never allowed bad commercials? What's the purpose of me doing a nice show and then they put 9 horrible commercials on, which are all lies? Or they put somebody on that's good, and then they always feel like they have to put somebody on who's bad. So the net result is a neutral. And you say, what are you doing it for? You can't do that. Fox should put just the good people on, the people that want to make America great again. They shouldn't put the guys that are professional scammers on. And they shouldn't allow bad commercials. Just a few months ago, Kamala imposed a natural gas export ban. Can you believe that? That is brutalizing Pennsylvania energy jobs. You know about it, right? And Kamala's Green New Deal insanity, I call it the Green New Scam, is shutting down power plants all across America. As a result, Pennsylvania electricity prices are up, despite all of the oil and gas and everything, are up 35% in a very short period of time, with all that stuff underneath your feet, in particular you. Since she took office, we are looking at another rise now of anywhere from 30 to 50% very quickly. And we have so much. We have so much. And you're hit about as hard as anybody. If you vote for me, I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months. We're going to cut them down in half. I will terminate the natural gas export ban, which makes it impossible for you to sell your product to a lot of countries that want it desperately because they don't have what we have. We are so rich, we have the greatest, and we don't use it. It makes you really. We have all of this stuff more than anybody. We don't use it. I will get Pennsylvania energy workers pumping, fracking, drilling, and producing like never before. Right? And I don't know about how you feel, but I do, because this was the greatest company in the world 60 or 70 years ago. We are also going to keep U.S. steel right here in America. We have to be strong and powerful again, and we must put tariffs on foreign predators. They are predators, so that they don't destroy our steel industry. The people that like me the most of the steel, they were dead when I came into office. They were dead. And I put taxes on China. China was dumping massive amounts of steel to destroy our companies. I put a 50% tariff, then I raised it in some cases to 100%. And at a certain level, they said, no mas, we're not doing it. Remember, no mas, Roberto. We love Roberto Durando. And no mas, no mas. And they said no mas, and that was the end of it. And our steel companies were saved and thrived. And now we're losing our steel companies again because we have stupid people in the White House. We must keep our steel companies, and we must keep making steel more than any. If we have a war, are we going to call up, gee, China, could you send us some steel, please? Oh, I forgot about that. If we have a war, think of it. If we need it for our military, how do we build our tanks? How do we build our ships? We wouldn't have any steel. We have to make U.S. Steel great again. It doesn't have to be what it was. It was the greatest company in the world. Think of it. U.S. Steel was the greatest company in the whole world. That would be like whatever. You know, today our big companies are like Google and this and that. They're not the same. U.S. Steel is a strength. Google is all. Give me a break. Not the same. Not the same. You see all the stuff that Google and Facebook and all what they got caught cheating on the last election, the bad things they did, the 51 agents and all of the stuff, the laptop. Remember, it was Russia. It was Russia, Russia, Russia. No, it was Hunter, 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 as we said. And they affected the election very much. It came out many points, 11 points, 12 points. But that's what we have. And we can never let that happen again. And I said, we're going to go after anybody that gets caught cheating on the election. We're going to go after them harder than anyone's ever been sought before. Because these people are really a threat. They are a threat to democracy. The Democrats are a threat to democracy. That's the real threat. Under my plan, America will be a manufacturing superpower once again. We will be the envy of the world, and we will build that incredible future right here in Pennsylvania. Boy, did I come close. I almost said, I better be careful, because, you know, if I even mention, they'll report it, because I don't want to be. Should I say it, Uncle Sam? I almost said the state of Pennsylvania, but I meant the Commonwealth. I never said the state. I was able to catch it because I'm cognitively very strong. Very, very strong. I was able to catch it. Did you notice that? Right here, and I stopped for a second. I said, Pennsylvania. I didn't want. Oh, that's a bad mistake. When you do the state of Pennsylvania, you get yourself. I've seen it. Well, the worst was Biden. He's in Florida, and he says, thank you for being so nice. I love Iowa. I've always loved. I said, remember, he was in New Hampshire, and he said he was in Maine. He was at. I never did that. You know, if you do that, it's career threatening. As it turned out, it was career threatening. But if you do that once, Winston Churchill was this great speaker. Great. I get much bigger crowds than him, but nobody ever says I'm a great speaker. Winston Churchill was a great speaker. If he ever was in London and he said, I'm in Beirut, or because Biden is capable of that, he could go that far off. And, he compared Florida to Iowa, and then he said it was Idaho, the greatest potato place in the world. He said with Iowa, remember, he said, I love the potatoes in Iowa. No, he meant, right? He didn't mean Iowa. I mean, the whole thing. But I said, if you were Winston Churchill and you make a mistake as to location, like I'm here with you, and if I say, it's great to be in the great state of Illinois, could happen. No matter how great your speech is, you could make the greatest speech in history, and people will go, that was a disaster, right? He did it all the time, but she's worse than him. I'm telling you, watch. She's not as smart as him. He's not smart. He never was smart. He wasn't smart 40 years ago. Always, he was a hale and hearty guy, well met. Did you ever hear Shakespeare? He was hale and hearty and well met, but he wasn't a smart person. But she is a very dumb person, and we can't do that. We can't do that. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. Another front in Kamala's war on workers is her gigantic migrant invasion. Over the past 3 years, border czar. Do you notice she said, I'm not a border czar? She was a border czar for 3.5 years. Now she's saying I had nothing to do. Whether she was the border czar or just the person in charge of the border, it's been the worst thing ever, maybe one of the worst things ever to happen to our country. Look at what's happening in Springfield, Ohio. Look at what's happened to that beautiful town. Look at what's happened to Aurora in Colorado, where you have a radical left Democrat governor who doesn't have a clue. He's so scared. The Venezuelans are attacking. They're in the real estate business. They're taking over real estate. They're in there like I was, but they take it over with guns. I took it over with the brain. They take it over with guns. But they're in, think of it, Aurora, and they have weapons that the military doesn't even have. AK-47s. I learned about AK-47s 3 weeks ago. That's not a nice. I'm getting very good at learning about weapons. I'm learning a lot about guns. Over the past 3 years, border czar Harris has inundated small towns all across America with hundreds of thousands of migrants. Not only has she invited them across our border, unfortunately, she's also illegally flown them in. Remember, she was making excuses. No, we haven't really had too many. And then we found out that they're flying in by big, beautiful jets. They're flying over the border. She's trying to say that the border was sort of secure. It wasn't secure, although the greatest graph in the history of graphs, a thing that I love perhaps as much as any person I've ever met, is my wonderful graph on immigration and the lack of people coming. Do we have that graph? Can we put that graph up? This is my favorite graph. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that graph, Lee. David, I love it. Oh, isn't that a beautiful? I don't care what it says. I don't care if it said I did a lousy job. That's the most beautiful piece of paper I've ever seen. You see the arrow in the bottom? That was the week that I left office. See the arrow on the bottom, the big red arrow? That's the lowest level. This was done by the Border Patrol. This looks like a Trump special. It wasn't. That was done by the U.S. Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. ICE is phenomenal. That was done by the Border Patrol. That was the lowest level of immigration we've ever had in the country. And then these idiots, these stupid idiots took over, and look at what happened to our numbers. Look at what happened. Look at what happened to the numbers. But is that the most beautiful? I love the colors, the blue, the gold, the red. There's everything about it I love. I love the stars. Because if I didn't look over to the right to see that beautiful graph, I said, put up that graph, please. If I didn't look over to the right, I wouldn't be here with you tonight, and that would be a very terrible thing. What a beautiful thing. Think of it, Uncle Sam. Immigration saved my life. Think of it. Immigration saved my life. No, it's great. Well, thank you. And thank you. I sleep with that pace. Every night I go to bed with it. Say, darling, it's time to go to bed. Let's go. What a beautiful sight. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Great job that you were able to get it so fast. I didn't think we were going to be using it. I didn't think I was going to use it in Butler. It was just, I always use it at the end. If I use it, I only use it. You would know, you go to every damn rally, right? He's at every rally. And he makes a lot of money. I think he's probably an accountant. He's a CPA. He's a genius, but he goes to every rally. But, right, I rarely use it. But when I use it, it's always on my left, and it's always at the end of the speech. This time I just thought of it. As you can see, I don't use the teleprompter too much. Isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to use a teleprompter? Isn't that nice? Right? It's really nice. Thank you very much. By the way, we had a rally in Lee's part of the woods out on Long Island, and that was unbelievable. We filled up where the Islanders play, and the Nets were playing. They used to play there, a big, like a Madison Square Garden type arena. We filled it up. We could have filled it up 3 times. It was an amazing, just less than a week ago, right? That was great. Lee was there. Kamala has illegally flown in more than 500,000 migrants, right? When she was saying, no, we don't want to do that. And she's got, these guys actually want these people in our country. It's not even believable. Working with left-wing nonprofits to inundate Pennsylvania communities, changing the character of small towns and villages all over our country and changing them forever. They will never be the same. They will never be. Do you think Springfield will ever be the same? I don't think. The fact is, and I'll say it now, you have to get them the hell out. You have to get them out. I'm sorry. To get them out. Can't have it. Can't have it. They've destroyed it. It's terrible. It's terrible to say, and it's a tough thing to do. You know, you're going to take in some murderers and things, and you'll put them on the planes and the buses, and you're going to start doing it. Dwight Eisenhower holds the record. Believe it or not, he was a moderate kind of a guy, General Eisenhower, president. And he has the record. He couldn't stand people pouring into our country, and he took a lot and took them out. He's very strong on that. And we have to be strong. We have no choice because this is not sustainable by any country. There's no country that can do this. I mean, what were they thinking when they did it? What were they thinking? This is like, who would allow men to play in women's sports? Well, this is bigger. This is bigger. But it's the same thought. Who would allow? We're allowing open borders where millions of people that we have no idea who they are, where they come from. We don't know if they're murderers, if they're killers. Many are murderers, though, because prison populations are being released into our country. And these are tough people. They're tough people and they're vicious, evil people in many cases. And we can't have, but it's very tough because we'll take one young woman with 2 children and they'll put them in a bus to take them back to some country. And it'll be put in the fake news and it'll be a terrible story. It's terrible. And the whole country will turn against. It's a very tough thing to do. We have to do it carefully. But we have to get murderers and drug dealers and all these people that are coming into our country. We have to get them out of here. It's not sustainable. And not far from here, the 4,000 person town of Charleroi. Do people, oh, you know, Charleroi. In Charleroi, Pennsylvania, has seen a 2,000% increase in the population of their town. Do you know that, right? They have has your town changed slightly? Where are you from, Charleroi? Put up, okay, good. I just took a picture with that handsome guy. So would you say your town has changed just a little bit over the last couple of months? It's like, is it a different place, totally different place? It's what? It's completely different. Where are the other people that started screaming about Charleroi? Where are they? Okay, has your beautiful town changed? Yes. You can't do it. 80%, think of it, of the capital, and it's composed of lawless gangs. We're not gonna do this. All of the gang members, MS-13, they're being brought into our country because Venezuela doesn't want it. Remember this, Venezuela has sent their criminals into our country, has emptied their jails, not fully. They've still got people, but I don't know why, because I would have been worse than him. I would have emptied it. If I ran one of those countries, Honduras, any of them, even Mexico to an extent is doing it, and they shouldn't be doing it at all because they're getting rich off of us. They're getting rich. They shouldn't be doing it at all. They're going to stop immediately. But so many of these countries, I would do it. If I were the president of one of these countries, you know, and they're all smart, street smart people, I would have had them all. I don't know why Venezuela does it, but they have a lot of the jail population in our country. They probably couldn't get enough buses and planes. That's probably the only reason. But they're dumping jail populations, the criminals of the street, into our country. And there's only one thing that can happen, and it's really bad. And it's happening. And now you see it. And I said this 3 years ago when I heard about it. I said, this is only going to be bad. Think of the cruelty Kamala Harris is inflicting on the people of Pennsylvania. You live in a small town your whole life. You pay your taxes. You really are exemplary. You pay everything. You do everything. You love your town. You love your country. You know the town so well by name, you're just so proud of it. And suddenly she flies in thousands and thousands of migrants from the most dangerous places on earth. And they deposit them right smack in the middle of your community. And you're a nice person and you want to be politically correct. I see it very much in the cities, like the governor of Colorado. The guy's a real stiff, but he's up talking and he says, well, these are fine people. He doesn't want to say that they have AK-47s and they're taking over large portions of real estate. He doesn't want to say it. They want to be politically correct. It's happening in all of these towns that we're talking about because the mayors are afraid, and they're afraid politically too. They don't know, am I supposed to say this is good? Or am I supposed to say, and Democrat mayors, every one of them is saying it's a wonderful thing, and not one of them believes it. But they're afraid to go against the stupid party that's in Washington. So now your schools can teach.
Go ahead.
All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of it's just political rally stuff, but we definitely heard some good comms in there. One of them is he called out evangelicals and gun owners to get out to vote. And I have a feeling, you know, he said it for a reason, obviously. I mean, he said something about eating the pets over there in what was it, Springfield? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he says these things for a reason. So obviously evangelicals and gun owners need to get their butts out to vote. And I think that that's the only way that we're going to win. But I do believe that he said, he made mention that, if that happens, then Pennsylvania will vote for Trump. And then if Pennsylvania goes Trump, then we've won. And I believe that. I believe that very much so. So, yeah, make sure you're getting your people out there to vote. That's going to be the most important thing. He talked about a couple other things, energy independence. He hammers on that a lot, specifically out there in Pennsylvania because of the Keystone Pipeline. Being the Keystone State might have some kind of connection there, just kind of connecting dots here, right? Let's see. He also said something about old men and young boys.
Yes.
Isn't that
And he
interesting?
said it 3 times in a row.
Yes, he did.
And that's always important.
That is
Words are
important.
important when it comes from his mouth.
Yes, and considering that all of these things are directly connected to what's going on over there in the diddlers, world, I think that there's a direct connection there. And of course, we were kind of talking about it in the chats about Trump's pink hair, and from my perspective, I think that that's a thing to say that anything that we hear from people like that is going to be controlled kind of statements, stuff like that. Let's see. And then he made an attack on big data, specifically Google and Facebook. So that's another thing that we're really going to be hearing about. And I think that one of the co-founders of Google, his wife was at the diddler parties. So that's not going to work out well for them. But that's also, we know about the post that Zuckerberg made in regards to Little St. James Island. And then now we have everything with P. Diddy going on. All of these things, like, it's going to start rolling out here soon. And I think we still have some videos about that, right?
We have a lot to get through still
Okay.
tonight, so I appreciate you guys hanging with us as
Yeah.
we continue on with the regularly scheduled show. So you want to go ahead and read that?
Yes. And I just wanted to say the crowd size was humongous. Huge.
Yeah.
And there was no faking that.
Exactly.
Anyways, so let's see. Oh, Aaron says, right. I do not think Trump does anything without giving it very deep thought as to what it says, said or unsaid, and does talk more than me. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's see. Flashback. Actor Isaac Cappy
Unalive.
self unaliving in 2019 in quotes accuses Oprah of being a effing slave trader.
Let's go.
All right. Oh, we got no
Well,
sound.
there's a lot of good people. Don't get me wrong. There's tons of good people, but there's a lot of people that can be corrupted. They can be bought off. There's a lot. It's sad. You don't trust Oprah? Oprah's a fucking slave trader, guys. You shouldn't trust Oprah. Oprah is a slave trader. Oprah is a slave trader. Let that sink in. It's 100% true. Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. Why do you think she has that school in South Africa? Why does she hang out with who she hangs out with? Oprah Winfrey is a slave trader. How is she a slave trader? Does the name John of God ring a bell? There's a reason why Oprah is so powerful, and it's not pretty. What do we know about Hollywood? We know that you pretty much have to be compromised to be at a certain level in Hollywood. Who's at the top levels of Hollywood? This is not rocket science, guys. This is not rocket science. It's why they don't want the Fed to go down. Exactly. This is why they attack Michael Jackson's legacy. Yeah, because Michael Jackson hated this fucking people. Do you think Michael Jackson would have loved Gabe Hoffman? Gabe Hoffman's he's gaslighting Paris now. Gabe Hoffman. The guy is a piece of shit. He's a Mossad agent and he's a piece of shit. And he works for literal slave traders. Gabe Hoffman, you work for literal slave traders. Threatening me, slandering me, pushing fake articles about me. Brown Brothers Harriman is a huge nexus point in the big picture. 100%. Brown Brothers Harriman, that's the whole Skull and Bones network right there. That's we're talking about hundreds of years. We're talking about British East India trade. They wanted MJ's Sony Music shares. Yeah, MJ owned the whole Beatles catalog. They wanted it all. You don't hear many people talk about it. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Thoughts, sir?
So, Cappy, we know why Cappy is not around anymore, right? Clearly talking like this and just dropping all these things, like the thing about John of God and Oprah's connection. By the way, he's a convicted grapist and let's see, self-proclaimed medium and proclaimed psychic surgeon. He had all of the powers. I mean, the name alone should kind of indicate what he thought of himself. And then the Brown Brothers Harriman, talking about Oprah Winfrey. Let's see, their assets under management is $55 billion as of 2020. That's $55 billion. So lots and lots of power to be wielded. He made a connection to East India Trading Company, which makes it, to me, in my mind, puts it right in line with BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Merrill Lynch, whatever. Anyways, all of them. So Cappy was amazing, and he gave us
lots of information.
Oh, he gave us lots of information. And then the one thing I wanted to kind of end it in a positive thing, and that is he said that there's lots of good people.
Yes.
And what's funny is there's actually a correlation in the Q drops today. So take that for what it's worth. There may or may not have been a communication there through Liberty Daily, but Q post 4746, September 23rd, 2020. Let the truth be told, political spying is illegal, less than 1%. Have faith in humanity. And I think that that's one of the things that Cappy was trying to get at is there's a lot of good people in Hollywood. There's a lot of good people in the music industry. It's just the names that we hear. It's how the swamp creatures have been working, is they make it look like they're everywhere because they have strategic placement of all of these assets. And so it makes them look like they have a lot more power than they really do. And that's exactly how it happens. And I have a feeling that we're going to start to see a lot more of that as these dominoes start to fall. Chashi says some or a lot of these whistleblowers might actually be in witness protection. Agreed. John McAfee, Epstein, maybe more. Agreed 100%.
I believe Cappy's one of them.
I believe Cappy is still alive. And if you let that one sink in, I know a lot of people are adamant that Hanks is absolutely 100% evil. I have never seen any evidence with him. Some people may have. I don't know. I know I personally have not seen anything specifically with Hanks, like evidence-wise. So if we believe Cappy is alive, and Hanks was the one who supposedly did that with his little posts that he did with the gloves and the socks and all those other kind of things. Yeah, all the weird stuff out there. If Hanks was the one who supposedly did that, then how can we believe that Cappy's still around? Yeah. Just throwing that one out there.
Yeah, it is what it is. You ready?
Yep.
Go ahead and read that.
Cat Williams, flashback. All these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024.
Let's listen.
All right.
It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I didn't have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of get on there.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, well, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
Thoughts.
And that was the smart way for people to play it. Is you keep your nose clean, you make lots of friends, your friends come and talk to you about things. Oh my God, there's weird stuff going on. You know, I've heard about that. Tell me more. Let me listen. And that's how this is all going down.
Human intel.
Yeah, it's human intelligence and getting the information, which makes it easier passing that on to the right people. So that way that information can be corroborated and evidence gathered. So that way a big operation can happen. And the feds that are truly cleaning this up, and they're out there, trust me, they're out there. The feds that are truly cleaning this up, they are going to get every little piece of evidence that they can. It will be a slam dunk case. Ain't nobody going to be able to wiggle out of it because it's a real investigation as opposed to the BS investigations that they've been telling us about. But those BS investigations, I'm sure, lead to actual investigations, and that will help in the end with more than just a simple SA crime. It will lead to RICO, which will lead to treason, which will lead to whatever the Constitution prescribes for treason.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep. Just like Q said today, too, you will have to choose between all, what was it? In all enemies, foreign and domestic. Which one is it? That one was today, too. Crimes against humanity. That was today as well. Where's it at? Okay. Anyways, go ahead. Thank you, because I know you're getting frustrated with me.
No.
Go ahead. Compilation of Hollywood elites creeping over a very Justin Bieber. Young. Very young. Oh, it says something different in the yellow part.
No.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
Wow. I feel violated right now. Wow.
Just lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. What music are you listening to?
Would you rather have to be naked on stage during one full song, or drink a cup of blended worms? Answer Justin Bieber.
I have like little girl fans. I can't go.
My parents never gave me the sex talk. Okay. So why don't you give me the sex talk? I feel uncomfortable right now. Oh. Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird. Let's talk about the album.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Thoughts?
That poor young man.
Yeah.
That poor young man. Just fed to the lions.
Oh, there's more.
I know. But why don't we drive on to that?
You ready?
Yep.
And go ahead and read that.
Candace Owens brings the fire to address Justin Bieber's victimhood and Diddy.
Ready?
Yep.
Some videos that are surfacing of Justin Bieber at a Diddy party, and they are horrific. I'm talking truly and utterly horrific. Justin is at Diddy's parties, and in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly believe that Justin Bieber is a victim. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. I can show you a still from that video because I think the relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober. He is clearly very heavily under the influence at this party. And so what I want to say to Justin Bieber and to everybody that's following the situation is that Justin Bieber is a victim. I was horrified when I saw this, not because of the idea that Justin Bieber would be engaged in these sorts of things at these parties, but because I understood that this was a kid who was intentionally targeted by Diddy, as the videos show, told that he wants to party with him. Justin Bieber didn't do that to himself. Like I said, Justin Bieber was, in my view, a child victim. And as these videos are circulating on the internet, I want to make sure people remember that and give him the grace as someone who has somehow survived this, turned to family, turned to faith, and is still very much struggling with all of this. For people to give him the grace and the courage and the prayers to hopefully one day find within himself the strength to speak out about what happened. Anyways, it seems to be that it is all falling down in Hollywood. We will continue to monitor that story, but I do encourage everybody to pray for Justin Bieber.
One more.
Okay.
I know it's hard.
That's fine. All right, let's do it.
Ready?
Yep. But you got to put the thing up there.
Yeah.
You go.
When you realize you're jamming, when you are jamming and you realize Justin Bieber sang about Diddy parties. Ready?
Yeah.
Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. All the girls never walking the same. Signed a paper so he never has to ever say sorry. Lost myself at a Diddy party.
All right, thoughts, sir.
All right. So.
I know you're struggling with this.
So I want to put this out there. Let's see. Start sharing some screens here. All right. Q post 2273 as of September 23rd, 2018.
Today, right?
Today, yeah.
Okay.
And it's the very last one. Now they're talking about 2018 and a lot of the other things that are going on, but prepare for Sky is Falling week. Prepare for it. So I firmly believe that there's going to be a full week of The Sky is Falling. And then also for September 23rd in 2020 was Q Post 4743, which was crimes against humanity. And so we're seeing these posts line up yet again. It was, I think I shared it on the Twitter page, a post that Joe Rambo had done in reference to, oh God, what was that?
Oh, hold on.
Okay, you're going to grab that real quick? Yeah. Okay, so, and that was, again, one more. Here we go. Can you read that out loud? Music is about to stop. That was on
2262.
Yeah.
9/21/2018. Music is about to stop. 202-456-1414 Q.
Okay, and it's a really funny post that Joe did because a lot of people went over there and called because on that day they posted the number to the White House, and so everybody was calling and asking about it. So it's like these things are all adding up. They are all lining up. The dominoes are about to fall, and we're watching that happen in real time. It's just happening a lot slower than anybody ever thought or expected. But what we're seeing is this pure exposure, and people are hearing the things that they couldn't hear before, like case in point, that Bieber song. And that poor guy, now he's a guy, but back then, kid, that poor kid had no idea, and he just got thrown to the wolves. And it sounds like he was doing the best he could, trying to get away from it, but he kept on getting thrown back in there. He was trying to escape, and the system just wanted him. And he said it. He got into it because he wanted a new Ferrari or whatever, which makes sense. But people are hearing it now. And now that people can hear it, things will start to change. And again, this will wake up more and more people.
Amen. Amen. You ready?
Yep.
How about good?
Yes. That sounds good.
I don't expect you to understand now. I don't. What the Father allows. What I allow. In order to bring about my Father's will. And the faith and growth of His church. It can be crushing for you. And yes, even for me. It's too much. It's too much. I don't understand. I know. And that hurts my heart. But please stay with me, Thomas. And you'll understand in time.
Thoughts, sir?
So, as we're going through it, it's painful. As we're going through this, as we're waking up, as we're dealing with all of these things that are not only going on in the world, but obviously each and every one of us has our own things going on within our own lives. And it's a testament to the fact that we, it's tough and we don't know what to do. And even Yeshua understands that. Even Yeshua, like, he didn't want to carry that cup. If your will be done, but please take this cup from me. But I'm going to do what it is you want. And we don't understand it now. But I do know that as I've grown in my walk with God, it doesn't make the trials and tribulations that I'm going through in this very day, or in each and every day. It doesn't make it any easier, but you do get perspective on the backside of it. And it will all make sense one day. It may not make sense now. I understand that. There's so many things that don't make sense in my own life. Y'all educate me every single day about things that I don't see. So, I mean, we're all growing and we're all seeing that it's difficult, but try not to focus on the pain that you're going through, but focus on the fact that we are loved and that we will get brought through it and that it will all make sense one day.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
You ready?
Yep.
Have y'all heard the story about the sheriff in Kentucky who unalived the sitting judge? If not, pause this. Go look it up. I'm just going to give you a brief rundown. From what I gather, a sheriff walks in to the courthouse, asked to speak with the judge. At some point during their meeting, he unalives the judge, lit him up like a Christmas tree, same day shipped him to Jesus. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, the sheriff. Now, first-degree murder means premeditated, which means that sheriff knew exactly what he planned to do as soon as he walked into that courthouse. What I also gather is that judge had been graping his underage daughter, which means that he got off way too easy if all he did was get lit up like a Christmas tree. Now, they should have drugged him out of the courthouse and put him feet first into a wood chipper. All I'm saying is he got off easy talking about the judge. And they better not convict this sheriff. If that's true, if all of that be true, they can't convict the sheriff. They cannot. And if they do convict him, I promise you on everything I love, I'll be the first one to send money on his books every month to make sure he eating good. Are you kidding me? A sitting judge, and apparently there was more than one victim. A sitting judge is graping an underage kid. Dad finds out. Dad happens to also be a sheriff. Walks up into the courthouse. Same day shipped him to Jesus. And you still go and arrest him? Nah, that was too easy. The judge got off way too easy. And he ain't going to see Jesus too long because where he going is hot. But no, that story is mind-blowing. I couldn't even begin to fathom what was going through that sheriff's mind at that time. But no, if you play with mine, by all means, you are going to see Jesus the same day. Same day shipping. That's crazy to me.
Thoughts, sir?
I think Bill hit it. Aaron, there's your man to start a wood chipper company with.
Udi is amazing.
Udi's awesome. Yeah, I love Udi. I haven't seen Udi in a long time.
If you don't follow Udi, please follow him.
Check
he is
out
a
Udi.
former law enforcement officer who left because of the politics.
Because of the politics.
Defund the police crap.
Yeah. So I mean, what is there to say about it? You know what? A father will do what a father will do in that kind of scenario.
You have 3 daughters.
I have 3 daughters, and I know that there's plenty of people that I would like to put on a short list. But you know what? It is what it is. And this again, so there was a sitting judge that was having this problem. Obviously, the judge is compromised. Now that the judge is compromised, he's clearly going to want to not be alone and have some kind of support system. And so, what does that mean? Well, is there a support system that belonged to this judge? Hopefully, the investigation will find out even more. I can't imagine that a real judge would want to throw the book at this sheriff, because even it's your child, man. It's your child, and what are you gonna do? What?
Yeah.
So yeah, keep your ear to the track on this one, and we'll see what happens. But I got a feeling that sheriff would be all right. And to be honest with you, I know that former LEO that end up going to prison, it never ends well for them. But my God, I know that how the men in prison are, and they don't like the child rapists.
Yeah.
And so I believe that this sheriff would probably get a buy in that world, because each and every one of them would have done the same thing.
Exactly.
And so, you know what? They might vote for him for sheriff again.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
I got sassy.
Sassy.
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs.
You're so cute.
Fuck.
What is something weird about conservatives? There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is...
Yeah, I wasn't even ready. Also not surprised. Yeah, listen here, whatever the hell is even that? Listen to Insane Clown Posse, too. Growing up, good band. You're just walking around with $900 worth of Band-Aids on your titty tatas, bro? I mean, man, yeah. Is that a style thing or a humanitarian thing? You like see somebody injured? Here you go, brother. Worry about it. I got 5711 more. Yeah. Maybe you like the PBR version of Mother Teresa. Why you call us weird? The call is coming from inside the house. Like it's ringing off the hook. That phone been ringing since 1989. Yeah. It's got caller ID and everything. I might go look up what weird means. Clearly been misinformed, strange, bizarre. Yeah, that's me. Thank you for letting me know I'm the problem. These are the people calling us. I need a vacation from Earth. Fuck this whole planet. This fucking motherfucking fucking.
Thoughts?
I think that was probably a pretty good assessment of the whole thing at the end there.
You want a vacation from Earth too?
Yeah, something.
He had
Hurry up, Elon. Take us out to Mars like you keep telling us about.
He had the nerve to call us weird?
But yeah, I know. Well, I mean, in its eyes, we are.
Okay.
I mean, we think it's weird because not only can we not tell what its gender is, but probably doesn't know what its gender is. And with the whole Band-Aid over the boobies thing, I don't even know. And then just why the clown thing? And
I
then
don't know.
You're going to wear clown makeup and call other people weird?
Yeah.
When you got Band-Aids all over your
nips,
moobs? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. You know what? Yep. We're in a cult.
Yep.
Cult of Jesus.
Color me culty.
I got nothing. I
You
got
ready?
nothing else. What can you have?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Well, real quick, we had seen that thing about the insane asylums back in the day, and about how they all had like the beautiful architecture and everything. Kind of makes me wonder, did they sell it to the crazy people as like a 15-minute city back in the day? Look how pretty it is, and you'll get to live here, and it'll be great and beautiful, and everything will be fine. And everybody,
Or as a hotel.
it'll be a hotel, a resort kind of experience. Please come in. And, like a rat trap, you put cheese in there and brings the rats and does a rat trap thing. So kind of makes me wonder if that's how the 15-minute cities will be called after it's all said and done.
I don't know.
Just
I don't know.
Random musings.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
ready?
Yep.
You want to read that real quick?
Turns out one of the women in Oprah's propaganda video for commie law doesn't actually support her.
You ready?
Whatever.
So I got my 4 seconds of fame on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and of all people to be her guest, let me show you who it was.
Americans 18 to 34 say that the cost of living is their top issue ahead of the election. Let's take a look. Groceries are extremely expensive right now.
I don't understand how people are affording life right now.
Do I look good? Okay. To my Americans, let me make something perfectly clear, okay? I do not support Harris for president, okay? I want to be unburdened by who has been in the White House the last 3.5 years, okay? As I stand here today, on this stage, standing on this stage today, the day after yesterday, I just want you to know, okay, how I stand. And how I stand today is that I do not support Harris for president. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, cut. Did I do good? Barney, you gave me the questions 72 hours ago. I was able to practice those. Okay. Now go get my makeup so I can clear up my freaking face.
Thoughts?
You mean that they misused video evidence to support their lies? Wow, have they ever done that before?
No, never.
No.
Never.
Like they would never do anything like that for like impeachment proceedings where they
No.
doctored videos and kind of
No.
rearranged and made it look like it was supporting.
You're being silly.
I know. I'm just saying, you know, I'm sure it was an accident.
I mean, you're saying all the things they would never do.
I know. That's
Because,
why I'm in a cult.
They're like the science and shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're the actual science.
I know.
Yeah, they own the science.
They
it's
own
called
yeah.
Fauci.
I know.
They have a Fauci.
They have a Fauci. What are we going to do about it?
So they have all of.
We're the crazy ones in the cult.
You just listen to them.
I know.
They'll tell you.
I know.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad we got that figured out. That they're liars who lie.
No, they tell the truth.
No, because I see it with my own eyes.
No, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. They lie.
We are the liars.
How? When we have the evidence that shows that we are telling the truth.
It doesn't matter. That's not how it works.
All right. Well, whatever.
You ready?
Whatever.
Is it whatever Monday?
Oh,
I thought it was.
It has become whatever Monday.
I thought it was whatever Wednesday.
Anyway.
Okay, we're moving on.
All right.
Did you know that the version of the Old Testament the earliest writers of the New Testament sourced from is different than the Old Testament in many Protestant Bibles today? So let's talk about the Septuagint. And today I'm going to be using my Lexham English Septuagint, which I wholeheartedly recommend. So let's dig into some Bible and Christian history that just might shock you. After the Babylonian exile in 538 BC, there was a desperate need for the Hebraic people to recapture their identity. Entire generations of Hebrew children and adults were returning from exile from a strange land under strange gods. They needed to reinstate cultural traditions and centralize their religion to reestablish both politically and religiously who they were. And tradition states that the men who led that charge were Ezra and the scribes, also called the Great Assembly, a group of 120 scribes, wise men, and prophets. And it's said to have existed from the end of the biblical prophets around 516 BC to the early Greek period 150 to 200 years later. And among their achievements were the fixing of the Hebrew biblical canon, introducing the Feast of Purim, the Amida prayer, as well as the temple prayers, rituals, and benedictions. By the 5th century BC, the Torah, the law, was accepted as canon. By the 3rd century BC, the narrative histories and writings of the prophets were in the process of being recognized. And by the 2nd century BC, most, not all, of the writings, Psalms, Proverbs, additional histories, etc., were formalized, most written in what's called Biblical Hebrew and a smattering of Aramaic, creating the Tanakh. But a big problem was that by the late 3rd century BC, very few people spoke Biblical Hebrew outside of learned and educated communities. Aramaic was in use in Judea, but as Hellenism spread throughout the Mediterranean outside of Judea, the most common language was Greek. Many among the Jewish upper class, including some religious and political leaders, were influenced heavily by Hellenism. And as ancient Israel became increasingly Hellenized due to the spread of Greek philosophy and thought, there was a desire to see these Hebrew scriptures translated into Greek, creating what's now referred to as the Greek Old Testament, or Septuagint, which means the translation of the 70. Now, here's where legend slides in. Story goes that at the request of Ptolemy II, 70 Jewish scholars, or 72 depending on what tradition you ascribe to, 6 scholars each from the 12 tribes of Israel, independently produced a Greek translation of the Hebrew Torah, and miraculously, each grouping presented identical divinely inspired translations. Now, whether the legend is true or not, and it's most likely just that, a legend from the letter of Orestius, evidence does prove Greek translations of the Torah were circulating by the 3rd century BC, with the remaining books of the Tanakh translated into Greek during the 2nd century BC. But regardless of who commissioned it or who translated it, the absolute fact is that soon the Greek versions of Hebrew scriptures were in wider use than Hebrew. Why? Most people didn't understand biblical Hebrew. So in temples, speakers would read some scrolls in Hebrew and they would translate to the common language of Aramaic. But outside of formal settings, and especially among Greek speakers, it was the Septuagint that was commonly used. Additionally, the Septuagint version of the Old Testament is quoted more by New Testament authors, particularly the Pauline epistles and the Apostolic Fathers. Ever wonder why in some of your Bible's New Testament verses, such as Acts 7:52 through 53, Hebrews 2:1 through 2, and Galatians 3:19, the Mosaic law is described as actually given by angels, yet there's no reference to that in the Old Testament in your Protestant Bibles? It's not because the New Testament writers were making stuff up. It's because the writers of those verses are quoting the Septuagint version of the text. In fact, some scholars estimate that of the 27 books of the Greek New Testament, most of the 320 direct quotations and the combined total of possibly 890 quotations in reference to the Old Testament Hebrew scriptures are based on the Septuagint. Here's something else. The Septuagint included more books than the Hebrew Bible, which is the source of the Apocrypha. So during the early church's day, it was the Greek Septuagint version of the Old Testament that people were familiar with. This version formed much of the thought for early writers of the New Testament as well as the church fathers, and also served as the basis for the earliest translations we currently have, like Codices Alexandrinus, Sinaiticus, and Vaticanus. So it is a fact that the earliest Greek and Latin translations of what would eventually become the New Testament are actually based upon the Septuagint. So, what does that all mean? Should we throw away our Bibles that aren't based on the Septuagint translation of the Old Testament? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely silly. The main thing is still the main thing, but there are some interesting differences and reasons why later rabbis would want to move away from the Septuagint and standardize what would be called the Masoretic text, which form the base of many Protestant Bibles today. But that's another video for another time. But the Septuagint offers us a fascinating glimpse into the minds of the early writers of the New Testament. So if you're serious about Christian history, and if you're interested in reading the scriptures the writers of the New Testament had in mind and quoted in their New Testament writings, then you should pick yourself up a copy of the Septuagint. And along with the Old Testament books that you're familiar with, this version of the Septuagint also includes 3 and 4 Kings, Esdras 1 and 2, the Wisdom of Solomon, Judith, Tobit, Baruch, the Epistle of Jeremiah, Susanna, Bel and the Dragon, 1 through 4 Maccabees, the Psalms of Solomon, the Odes, and as a bonus, also has the first book of Enoch. Ooh, nearly. Loads to explore in here. So just go right down there and make it happen. The history of the Bible is crazier than any silly conspiracy out there. God bless. You are loved. See you soon.
Thoughts, sir?
So the Septuagint, I will say that as we're going through and doing our Bible app, that has those little bubbles on there, and you touch them, you try to, and it has little tiny bubbles, so I miss all the time. But whatever, anyways, so you touch those little tiny bubbles, and then a lot of the times it will say what's in the Septuagint, and I think that it's obviously the Septuagint was, and he gave a great history as to where it came about and why it's so important. And again, like the Dead Sea Scrolls, they line up with everything. And so I think it's important for us to be able to read different versions of the Bible. It would be nice if I could spend the time learning Aramaic and ancient Greek and Hebrew and, all that other stuff. But it would be another way in which to try to understand the Word of God. And I think that it's as time goes on, it's probably one of those things that we might all pick up, learning different, ways to understand the word. Because in the end, what are we trying to do? We're trying to understand what our Creator wants out of us. So why wouldn't we try to understand what He's getting at? You read it over and over again, but it's the understanding that makes the difference, and then putting that into practice. And that's when a lot of magic really starts to happen, right? So it's good to read all the different versions because it can be eye-opening. But definitely make sure you're checking out all the footnotes and everything, because that's usually where the information about translations can be. And you can always download what is it? The Blue Bible, I think, is the one that gets you the
I think that's what
I think that's what it is the one that gets you the original words, and you can click on it and it can tell you the definition and where it was at in other parts of the Bible. But your study is on you. How deep do you want to take it?
Exactly. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You want to read that?
Compilation, The Many Accents of Kamala Harris. The ending is a chef's kiss.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
I love you back. I love you back. Hello to all my divine nine brothers and sisters. And my soror. You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Let's just get through the next 64 days. And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024. Can I get a witness? Hello, everybody. Oh, it's wonderful to be in Jacksonville. Duval. They know when we vote that we vote for justice, we vote for fairness. They know we know what's on the ballot in 2020. Justice is on the ballot in 2020. Economic justice is on the ballot in 2020. Criminal justice reform is on the ballot in 2020. We know what we have at stake, and we know our power, and that's why we will vote every day until election day and get this thing done. We campaign with the plan. Uppercase T, uppercase P, the plan. And then the environment is such that we're expected to defend the plan.
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a Southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Bullshit.
Thoughts, sir.
That's funny. If I tried to do an accent that wasn't ethnically related to who I was, wouldn't that be considered racist?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
It's my only question.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, she's fake.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Don't you love her laugh, though? Doesn't it just make you happy?
Yeah, I can't even do it.
I know.
Thank God.
Ugh. You ready?
Yep.
Here you go.
Makes sense. IRS union endorses Comrade Kamala.
Let's go.
It is with great honor that I am endorsing Kamala Harris. But Josie, why? What position, what endorsement sent you over? Tax collectors are endorsing Kamala. Tax collectors are endorsing Kamala Harris.
Thoughts?
I couldn't understand her squeaks, but I think I get the point of it.
Yeah.
And that's the fact that the IRS union chose to endorse Kamala. Why? wouldn't
wonder why.
anybody that got an endorsement from the IRS union say, no, shut your face. I don't want people to know that you want me to win because nobody likes you. Like even in the Bible, they talk about tax collectors. Just throwing that one out there. I mean, kind of like shut up. But you know what? In this case, by all means, speak up. Let the whole world know that you support Kamala. I think it's important for the whole world to know that the IRS union supports Kamala Harris.
There you go.
I'll be sure and share that information.
You ready?
Yeah.
Want to read that?
The Democrat Party has become the Trust Me Bro Party.
Let's go.
If we do that.
I got blocked today by a left-wing Harvard-educated friend of mine over a political debate. Let me tell you about what happened. So he claimed that Kamala Harris was the only viable candidate because democracy is at stake in this election. But let's forget about the actual candidates themselves and look at the parties, because the Democratic Party has clearly shown that the presidency is basically a figurehead. Like, we know Joe Biden is not running anything. So what does the Democratic Party think about democracy? And this is coming from someone who had been a Democrat for 20 years before being disenfranchised. You wanted Bernie Sanders in 2016. You got pushed with Hillary Clinton. You wanted basically anyone else in 2020, and you got Joe Biden. And now the Democratic Party isn't even giving you a semblance that, like an even illusion that you have any sort of vote for who's going to be the candidate. Harris doesn't win a single primary. She does not have to face a single difficult interview where she is like pressed hard on any of her philosophies. The Democratic Party has literally turned into the Trust Me Bro Party. That's basically what they are. We know what's good for you. Trust me, bro. Here's what's so sad. People look at January 6th and think, wow, this is an assault on democracy. But for the left wing, democracy didn't die in fists or weapons or any sort of violence. Democracy died without a single whimper. You gave away your right to vote simply because they said, you can't trust the other guy. You can only trust us. Trust us, bro.
Thoughts, sir?
Trust me, bro. I don't understand. Actually, I do understand. I know exactly why it's happening. Mr. Harvard-educated gentleman couldn't see that he doesn't even know what the hell democracy is. It happens because of hubris. And that's a problem that America has had for quite some time, is hubris, an inflated sense of how important we are. And the left has been really bad. And the problem is we've listened to these people talk about how their inflated positions and educations and positions of authority have really, that they are the ones that belong there. Yet all we have to do is open up our eyes and see that they're doing everything wrong. Yeah. That there's tons of homeless people everywhere, that there's people that are wanting jobs, but they're getting filled by people who are coming here illegally. And as he was saying in that video, they haven't even picked their own candidate for the past 3 elections now. Does that not bother y'all? Do y'all not see that your Democratic Party is denying you your free and fair democratically elected candidates for your party, and that you haven't been allowed to?
Trust me, bro.
Yeah. Trust me,
bro.
this is what you want. And so that hubris shows how blind they are. And it's that blindness that they're going to be struck with when things go haywire and everybody's looking to them. Well, you're the damn boss.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do? I don't know. And then that's when the people that have been using their brains and have been trying to tell everybody around them, what you're doing sucks. I've been telling you this for years. Are you finally willing to listen? Well, yeah. Show me how to do it. No, I'm not showing you. You need to step the hell down and get the hell out of here, because you can't manage. You can't manage to find your way out of a wet paper sack.
Exactly.
It's coming, but it has to look like this first.
Yeah. Aaron, he didn't get pulled over. Someone almost met Jesus today.
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah. I
It was
always
bad.
enjoy when people hide out in my blind spots and they get mad at me when, I'm looking as best as I can with the way traffic is as ridiculous as it is. And then they get mad because I couldn't see them because they were the dipshit that wanted to hang out in the, in the blind spot. But whatever, hey, do your thing.
Yep.
It'll work out for them great one day.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Most people have affairs because they forget the 80-20 principle. You're going to marry someone that has 80% of everything that you love. That 80% when love is high feels like 100%. Like it does. What is it? The Bible tells us love covers a multitude of sins. You don't care about the socks on the floor when love is high. Like you don't care about the bad breath when love is high. You don't care that he goes and plays golf. Who cares? You're like, love is high. But when there's a struggle, when there's a rift, when there's not that intimacy there, what happens is that 80% is overlooked and all you're looking at now is the 20% that they don't have. And then some guy or some girl comes along and guess what? They have none of the 80%, but they've got that 20%. Maybe they've got that body, or they've got that affirmation you need, or they laugh at your jokes. She doesn't laugh at your jokes, but he laughs at your jokes. And you got to think about, like, this is a whole thing where you're going, oh man, this person finally gives me what I want, what I need. And what you do is, and this is the lie of the enemy. The lie of the enemy is he gets you to give up the 80% for the 20% that person can offer. And I've seen it. I've seen it time and time and time again. And what ends up happening is you end up wrecking your life. And that 80% that God has given you, and the kids that God's given you, and the integrity and the blessings and the joy that God's given you in that 80% for that 20%. And then you go and because you wrecked all of this, you go and lean into that 20% and you realize that 20% is about all that she or he has to offer. And that relationship never works out. You know why? Because they were a bait, they were a tactic of the enemy to get you to give up what God had in your life. Never forget the 80-20 rule. Here's how I say it. Ready? Don't trade what you want most for what you crave now.
Thoughts, sir?
It always requires work. Relationships in general, not just marriages or any of that stuff. Friendships, everything requires effort. I don't know about specific numbers. I mean, we've always talked about 100%.
Yes.
Everybody has to give 100% to meet in the middle. Otherwise, somebody's carrying the weight that they are going to get exhausted by. So therefore, give of yourself. I mean, that's kind of what the whole Christianity thing is about giving of yourself. And we should enjoy that. And if people take advantage of it, recognize that that's on them. If people don't care about it,
their personality than yours.
Yeah. If people don't care for, any of it, again, it's on them. You just be you and give 100% of yourself and the world will love you. I firmly believe that. I mean, obviously you got to, be loving and stuff. I mean, you can't just be a jackass, but I mean, giving of yourself, giving of your heart to the world around you is, and giving 100% of yourself. You may get hurt, whatever, but it's temporary.
But you're going to learn from that.
You're going to learn from it, and you will, grow your heart in relation to the world around you. It's all growth.
Yeah. How about some Kim Clement?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to talk about November and December.
Okie dokie.
God said this that is going to happen is going to be mesmerizing during November and December, where I will expose one after the other. And people in this nation shall look and say, we have to call upon the name of the Lord. Because Islam has not only come from the outside, but from the inside. Yes. Therefore, watch. I listen to the prayers of the forefathers and the present fathers to bring what I promised to this nation. Would your greatest enemy stand on the Capitol, at the Capitol, and declare, away with you, dove, away with you, spirit, away with you, Yeshua.
Thoughts, sir?
I firmly believe that the American experiment is designed. Think about it. It's a modern Rome, right? And what was ancient Rome? Ancient Rome was every religion, and that they were all supposed to get along. Kind of Rodney King style. Can't we all get along? Obviously, it didn't work out very well, but it changed, and then it went into Christianity. This one started out as a Christian version of Rome, and then it looks like somewhere along the lines, some real other religions decided to sneak in and kind of change things up. So where does that lead us? Well, that leads us to continuing to do what we need to do as Christians to bring this nation back to God, because we are basically Israel's little brother, the real Israel, not necessarily the country with the flag and everything. I mean, y'all understand what I'm getting at. But it's how are we supposed to help anybody grow if they don't get to see what it can do? And I think that as we come through this, and I know I'm having a difficult time communicating this concept that's in my head, but basically people will decide to turn to a loving version of God, right? We do have Islam, and there are great people who believe in Islam, and they are loving people, and they choose to I guess focus more on what the teachings that align with Yeshua. And I think it's that coming together under the banner of children of Abraham, children of Noah, that all of these things, that we are children of God, and that is how this is going to work. I don't know.
I agree.
I know it's going to work. I just can't describe it. Cut me some slack. God.
I think you're amazing. I got
know.
it. You ready?
Yeah.
Trump's going to talk about John Deere. You know how?
Oh, Juan Deere?
There you go.
Yeah,
You ready?
Juan Deere.
Let's go.
All right.
I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company, but as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%. They haven't started it yet. Maybe they haven't even made the final decision yet, but I think they have. John Deere is going to, and anybody else that does this, because it's hurting our farmers, it's hurting our manufacturing. And if you do that, you're going to have a 200% tariff put on the product that you make in Mexico, right across the border. They think they're going to make product cheaper in Mexico and then sell it in for the same price as they did before, make a lot of money by getting rid of our labor and our jobs, and really a great name, because John Deere is a great name. I buy a lot of John Deere, tremendous. I'm one of their big customers. I buy a lot of John Deere product as a private person. But if they're going to do that, we're going to put a 200% tariff on everything that they want to send back into the United States, which means one of two things. Our country's going to make a lot of money, or they're not going to build, they're not going to open, and or they're going to sell it to another country. They're entitled to do that.
Thoughts, sir?
Aaron, yeah, John Deere's already been messing up for years, for a long time. They've been shutting the factories, been screwing over the American workers. But then again, it was already bought out by, guess who? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what do they do? They put their woke ass CEOs in place, and this is to wake people up. And I think that, you know, a lot of those arguments that we had about Ford versus Chevy, or International Harvester, or Case versus John Deere, a lot of those are going to go away. I think people are going to lose their love for a brand and its marketing schemes to they're going to see through that. And this is how we see through those. This is how we see, well, what's important. Well, you ain't building those things here anymore. John Deere used to be a great company. We don't have John Deere anymore. We got some East India Trading Company BS going on. And, you know, you go bankrupt, go woke, go broke.
Exactly.
Ever learning, and I hope they just stay in the States. I hope they do stay in the States. I would like to see John Deere survive. I would like to see Harley Davidson survive. I'd like to see a lot of these big corporations survive. You know, Kmart's down. They're shutting down their last large store. Last large store. There's 2 stores left. I think one in Florida, one in New York City, and they're just like little like half stores or whatever. I worked at Kmart. That was what, my second job, and so I hate to see these things go away because they're things that I knew. I missed, you know, the terrible food that was in the cafeteria in the center of the Kmart during lunch. They had like a really good, I don't know what it was, some kind of meatloaf or something. Who knows what it was? It was probably mystery meat. But regardless, these are things that are important. You know, who even knows what a Woolworths is anymore?
Oh, I know.
All of these things that were America have been going by the wayside. Hopefully, people will recognize the important parts about having business here in America.
Absolutely. You ready?
Yep.
How about some Tucker?
I could use some Tucker. I like him.
The most interesting fact from the debate was Kamala Harris admitting she has a gun. And I'm as for Second Amendment rights as anybody, but I don't think Kamala Harris should have a gun. I mean, why does Kamala Harris have a gun? Where did she get the gun? What kind of gun is it? What's the point of having the gun? And why is no one in the media asked?
Could you even imagine going to the range with that moron and putting a loaded gun in her hand? You know she'd be the one that turns around from the firing line. It's Jam! You know, you can see her doing it already off the bat. You know that she'd be that one. She'd be the one.
But was it a straw purchase? I mean, who gave Kamala Harris a gun?
Well, look, these commies are always trying. You see it with every Democrat who talks today. They're always trying to straddle this line, which is really Kamala Harris' specialty given her beginning. But she's what?
Thought, sir. I'm with Tucker. Who gave her one? And I'm with the other guy. Could you imagine going to the range with her? Hell no.
I can only imagine the person that had no choice but to do the forms. I'd like to see those ATF forms. That should be a matter of public record. You might be able to do a FOIA request on that one and find out exactly how she got one, especially in where'd she get it? Cali?
Right?
Huh.
I thought you couldn't have those.
Well, I mean, you can. You just got to know somebody. I mean, that's not how it works, but I mean, it's kind of how it works. Gotcha. Yeah, Sears, Montgomery Ward's, all of these companies. And by the way, if you look up, like YouTube has great videos on a lot of those old Sears house
that you could order.
That you could order back in the day and build. Beautiful houses.
And they're still standing.
Of course, because they were made like Americans made stuff. The only thing that you weren't ever supposed to buy that was American made was a tap set. Because if you broke an American tap, then you were never going to get that sumbitch out of there.
I know.
I mean, the dies are fine, but yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. Buy the cheap Chinese taps. They're easier to get out.
Really?
When they break, because it's just crap and it breaks apart and comes out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Life pro tips.
Let's listen.
All right.
Someone want to explain to me about how the testimony of the former chief of the Border Patrol today isn't causing people to be impeached immediately? He directly testified that he was told to lie to Congress and to lie to the American people. Because not only was he told to cover up the amount of illegal border crossings we were seeing every day, not only was he told to cover up the amount of people we saw crossing that were on the terrorist watch list, but he was told that when he was questioned by any member of Congress to lie about it, and that when he was questioned by any member of the media that might get information to the American people, to lie about that. He was also told that he wasn't allowed to speak on the flights being chartered in from South America to bring illegals into the center of America. The program to release them all over the country without any warning to the American people nor to Congress. How the fuck is he able to testify to all that and people aren't being impeached and people aren't being brought up on charges? His testimony shows that the executive branch lied to Congress, that the executive branch told the Border Patrol to lie to Congress, and that they told the Border Patrol to hide the truth from the American people. How the fuck are these people not being brought up on charges immediately?
Treason.
He was told to lie. Okay, then you tell somebody. Somebody told you to lie. But they might find out about the things that they have the blackmail on me for. Well, at some point in time, sir, you're just going to have to make a decision on the decisions that you made. Sad to say, but you know what? At a certain point in time, your own ass or the nation, sometime you should probably consider something other than ego. We all make mistakes, make choices, but my God, man, you're there to protect the nation's border.
Mm-hmm.
It's important, just in case you couldn't tell. Whatever. I got nothing else on that one because that one really upsets me.
I knew it would, but I mean, why isn't it being talked about more?
Because there's too much other crap going on all at once. Sadly, is the real problem is that there's so much stuff going on. We can't keep a conversation going to get anything fixed until all of this crap is, until the election is over, and then we'll be able to actually focus on things. But the good news is that we'll have a president in office who will actually go ahead and try to clean the rest of the swamp out, which I do believe will happen. I think we needed these past 4 years under this crooked ass administration. The pause. I believe it was absolutely necessary to make sure they clean the rest of them out of this system.
I agree. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You want to read that real quick?
Live Trump rally coverage.
No, this down here, silly.
Kamala has a new word of the day, and Trump played it at his rally.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
The Kamala word of the day is clearly story.
It is your story and the story of our friends before you is really, that's the American story, right? In telling your story and being so strong in the way you do it. And both of these stories, for you to tell these stories, this story is a story that is sadly not the only story.
It's unbelievable. It's simply unbelievable. It's like a child who learns one word and then they struggle for the next thought and it never comes. But maybe this daytime talk candidacy will work. It's all emotion, but not a very good one. Certainly not an articulate one, Laura.
And being a bitch.
Thoughts, sir?
I thought it was funny that her laugh was perfectly timed with Steven's little comment there. I have a story when we lived on the third story.
I know.
Okay, so what's the story with the word story that we had to hear story so many times? It almost feels like a story in and of itself.
Because she said it. I read one article that said she said the word story 79 times during that 1 hour interview with Oprah.
So what's the story with story?
I don't know.
Why story? I don't know. Regardless, we all keep our stories. The idea is relevant. She does play a great idiot on TV and in real life too.
I know.
Let's see. Story. Is there anything? Let's see. History. Not seeing anything specific.
Not just story.
No. History.
Okay.
No. It all looks like it's history related. So I don't know. I have to look into that. But that is really weird about story. But then again, maybe it's kind of the point that she's a storyteller.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. You ready?
Yeah. It's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Is it? Okay.
She's had enough. Enough of the nonsense, the double standards, the people who take without giving back. She's been patient. She's been kind. But there comes a point where she has to draw the line. She's done bending over backward for everyone else while putting herself last. It's not that she doesn't care. She's cared more than anyone will ever know. But now it's time to care about herself just as much. She's not angry. She's just awake. Awake to her worth, to her boundaries, and to the fact that she deserves more. It's not selfish. It's survival. So if you've hit that point too, know that it's okay to let go of what's draining you. Walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. And sometimes that's the strongest thing you can do. If this hits home, drop a 100 in the comments or share it with the person on your mind. And don't forget to follow, because this page is for you.
Okay.
Funny story.
Funny story. Funny story is, it is okay to choose you. There, and I've said this many times before, it's God, self, spouse, family, then everything else. It's okay to pick you. It's okay. And it's okay to walk away from things that don't make you happy. And it's okay to not let people hurt you. It's not needed. But I will say, when it comes to relationships, don't walk away too early. Like the guy was saying, the 80-20. Don't look at something with 20% and think that's better than the 80. Always put yourself first, but at the same time, think about the wonderful people that are in your life. Like, for almost 26 years, I've had the pleasure of calling this man my partner and my best friend. And he makes me laugh more than you guys could ever imagine. And has it been all sunshine and lollipops? Hell no, it hasn't. But the fact is that 80% or whatever he wants to call it has been amazing. And I honestly think it's more like 95%, and only 5% has been the funky part. And so when you're putting yourself first, don't cut out people that are important to you because you just give up. Don't give up that easily. It's worth fighting for. But always have your peace. Keep peace within yourself. And if there are people in your life that have stabbed you in the back, that have done bad things, forgive them. Doesn't mean you have to be around them anymore. It just means forgiveness. And I'm going to play a video tomorrow about forgiveness. That is super important. But put yourself first, but never give up easily, because anything worth having is worth fighting for. Seasoning?
Never give up. You said everything fine. You said everything great. Don't give up. Why? But why would you start something and then give up on it? I know that I got a lot of quit in me that I found for a very long time. Gave up on a lot of stuff, and and I suffered for it. I suffered for it because I just couldn't find that motivation. And you know what? Just merely fighting for something and driving towards it and not giving up is what makes the victory all the sweeter. And I think that it's so much more to life when there is a struggle that's involved with it. It's kind of like jumping off of doing a bungee jump, right? There's going to be, first of all, you got to climb up to the top of the tower that they have there, and you know, then you get hooked up and you get all stressed out and this and that and the other thing, and then you get up there and you can easily say no, I can't do it, and then walk back down, go down, and no harm, no foul. But then you never got that experience. If you never climbed to the top of a hill and looked down over what that perspective that the hell provides you, you know, if you never climbed up that hill, you wouldn't get that opportunity to see that different perspective. You don't know what it's going to look like. You just know that you got to keep going. And sometimes that should be plenty.
Yeah. And I did this last week, and I just want to play this because I know a lot of us sometimes want to give up, but just listen to this real quick.
Keep going. No matter how hard things are right now. No matter how stuck you feel. No matter how many nights you've spent crying or wishing things were different. No matter how depressed and hopeless you feel. I promise you won't feel like this forever. keep going.
Always keep going. You've already won 100% of everything.
Still here, aren't you?
So
Well,
don't
keep
give
that
up.
record up. Go kick some ass.
Absolutely.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this very extended episode tonight. But President Trump had some things to say, so we had to take a look at that. But anyways, we appreciate all of y'all showing up here today. Forward, yes, that too.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you all very much for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on YouTube or Rumble, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over, excuse me.
You gonna make it?
Yeah. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're over on Facebook, just pick one of
Hit the
those
buttons.
buttons.
Yeah, hit the buttons.
And thank you so much, Steph. That video made me feel so blessed to make it. And I love each and every one of you guys. You guys mean the world to me. Thank you so much. And thank you to our new friend over on Pilled. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Ina? Yes.
Ina. So welcome.
Hello, Ina. Welcome, new
Welcome,
friend.
new friend. We love each and every one of you. We hope you have a wonderful night. And we will be back same that time. Same that channel.
All right, everybody. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe and God bless.